We are live. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate everybody that's still riding with us, giving us feedback. We like that. Y'all can send us emails now, just to be clear. It's in the description if you're looking at the podcast description. But the email is irdatpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we starting to get some topic requests. I love that.
So that's
Keep
dope.
that coming.
That's dope.
What's good, fellas?
Tell me, man, what's going on, Bookie? What's been up?
Man, I had a pretty dope weekend.
Okay.
This
Oh,
weekend. Yeah.
What happened?
Me and wifey hooked up with a few of my ex coworkers from the DPSS spot I was over at Watts.
Yeah.
And we had like a real diverse crew.
Yeah.
So I met up with like four of my ex coworkers. One is Armenian, Persian Armenian. He from Iran.
Okay.
Straight from the motherland of Iran. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The great Persia of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My other homeboy, and he'll whisper it to you. My wife was like, his name is Ahmed. Ahmed, where you from? He said, I'm from Mother Earth. Right? So I'm laughing because I know why he said it.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, you from Mother Earth? What you talking about? And he started laughing. He's like, nah, I'm from Palestine.
Yeah.
So, he didn't want to say it too loud. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm from Palestine.
You got to keep it on the low nowadays.
Yeah. Then my ex supervisor, she was there. She used to be married to a Lebanese guy.
International. Folks.
Man, we had an international table this week.
Yeah.
What did y'all eat?
And we actually, because the Armenian homeboy, he lived in Glendale.
Okay.
So they invited us down there. We all went to this Mediterranean restaurant out there.
Okay.
Man, food was delicious.
It was good.
It was.
I like
it was
Mediterranean
different.
food. It's good.
Yeah.
It definitely. It was definitely a different, because I enjoy like chicken mazan and all that little spots like that.
Exactly.
But when we went to this spot, you can definitely taste the difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, the quality of the food,
Yeah.
the preparation of it all. Yeah, it was
Dope.
definitely different. So we had a good time down there.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was a coffee shop, and I was out in Glendale and LA traffic. You know how that is.
Oh, man.
Coming back at 110, I think Dodgers was playing all that.
Oh,
I told wife, I was like, I'm gonna go get me some coffee real fast before we leave.
Yeah.
So I went next door to get me some coffee.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Steve Ross today on Facebook about it. We like to talk coffee.
Yeah.
And so
What up, Ross?
yeah. And so my homeboy came in there like, oh, Lamar, no, I got you. I'm like, I was just gonna get me a little latte to go.
Yeah.
He said, no, we're not gonna do that. I got you. Sit down. I'm like, all right, I sit down. My man went up there, ordered an Armenian coffee.
Yeah.
The first time I ever had Armenian coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.5 scoops, 75% water, 25% milk, 1 spoon of sugar. He had
it all together.
Man,
You ain't slept in 3 days, huh?
bruh. That joint was delicious, bro.
Yeah.
And it's real when it come in a little midget mug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Little midget coffee cup.
Yeah,
You know,
the little small one,
little small joint.
Yeah.
That joint potent.
That boy potent. You finna be up, yes.
Hey, that joint had the consistency of hot chocolate.
Nice. I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how the little hole, the little handle can really fit between the finger and the index.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Thumb and
yeah.
You had your
index.
pinky
I
out.
had the pinky up. And you drink like, that's how you drink it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Bruh. Yeah.
You went there.
Yeah, I'm like, and now I'm on my phone Googling Armenian coffee.
Yeah, I
near
already
Compton.
know.
Where's that near me in Compton? Where can I get some of this Armenian coffee? They said it's similar to like Turkish, Turkish coffee and all that. But yeah, it was definitely an experience, bro.
That's one of the things I love about being where we are in California, because you can access so many different cultures and they food and they coffee, and it's just, man, if you really just like put in your mind like, man, I'm finna just try something different I ain't never had or whatever. It's always good to have friends though that know where to turn you on, but you can just gamble and just find some places. Like not too long ago, I've been in Gardena for a while now, for more than 16 years. And when my brother-in-law came, he just found this Korean barbecue place that's right by the house that we've been passing by. It looked like a little house low-key. It's a real small spot, but they do family style, and we went there. Bruh, this is the best Korean barbecue I ever had. And they brought out everything like authentically. And when I went in there, this when you know. When you go into the places, like if you go into a Mexican restaurant, and you see the majority Mexicans in there, you already know it's
you talking about the patrons eating.
Exactly. Patrons
Yes.
eating. And when I went in there, it wasn't nothing but Korean people in there. You know, you feel a little odd, like, you know, they looking like, how y'all find this place? Because it's real small.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait to go back there again. A reason to go back there. The way they brought it out, the way they served it, like they finished some of the meat like right in front of us. The dude cooked, and then they had all these little, like, it was almost like, you know how they have different, what do they call it? Like different servings. What do they call it? Like different, like the first serving and then the second one. It was
The
courses.
Like a tasting menu.
Yes,
Yeah.
he came out like with salad at first and stuff. Man, all of it was good. And I know I was tasting stuff I had never, you know, tried before. And I was like, been here all this time. And somebody out of town come and be like, oh, this look good. Yeah. And dude just turned me on. So yeah, the city is full of just culture and authentic foods from those cultures. And it's like, don't sleep on them.
You know, I was talking to one of my coworkers last week when at City of Gardena when I was at work over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, bruh, the city of Gardena is so diverse.
It is.
I'm talking about multicultural.
It
bro.
is.
Like, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I was like, this is great. Like, it's almost like little sections of, you know what I'm saying, little culture sections within the city.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You it's like, oh, you got a little Chinatown over here, you know, Japantown, and you know what I'm saying, Koreatown over here, little Tokyo over there. Like,
Gardena got a couple of blocks where all the stores is in a different language. They ain't even worried about me.
Yep.
They do not want me in. They don't expect me to come in there because there's no English version of what y'all. I don't even know what y'all do.
But James, I'm telling you, just fall up in there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm like. Ever since that Korean barbecue, I'm like, dude, I'm finna fall into all them places where I can't read.
You about
anything
to start taking chances
and taking chances.
Sushi sumo, try sushi sumo.
See,
yeah,
that's something my wife would like. She loves.
It's right.
Sushi.
Yeah, it's in Gardena.
I think I
took my daughter over there.
Yeah,
it's in a little shopping center with the little bubble tea and all that.
Yeah,
but the joint sushi sumo got the. So you sit down at the counter and the little conveyor belt come around.
Yeah. See, I'm there
like
for that.
Old school, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
like
going
really
for that
in the old country. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's good. And that was the first time I ever when I went there. And actually, Jerk had took me there years ago, but I just took my daughter there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and that was the first time I ever had plum wine.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was like, plum wine? I'm like,
I'll try that.
Yeah, try
Man,
like,
listen, if you're going to be here paying for these zip codes, you better get all that beach, all that culture. Because we paying for all of this stuff. You better be eating it and trying it.
You know,
I fell up into some Turkish looking spot. It was just like you said. It was a bunch of people that looked like they was from Turkey.
See what I'm saying? I'm like, stay. I'm telling you.
I looked at the one spot, the taco spot,
stay
empty.
up in there.
The other spot is a pizza joint, but this Turkish spot got a gang of like foreign looking people in. I'm in Orange County. I'm like, if they eating that, I'm gonna go try it. I went up in there and tried some of whatever that Turkish stuff was. It was fire. And I asked them like, hey, what should I get? You know, I'm asking the people sitting down, what do y'all get? Because I don't want to just go in there. You don't want to order no chicken strips. You go in there.
Let me get a bacon cheeseburger. Like,
no, man.
That's not what you do. I'm telling you.
You find out what them people sitting in there eating. They not speaking no English. I'm like, whatever they doing with falafel or whatever y'all doing, let me know. They was like, oh, you need to get this, that.
Yeah, I love some Indian food too. When you said falafel, boy, I'm telling you, Indian food. I'm telling you, they know. They'll take the simplest like stuff, just vegetables.
Yeah.
Are they curry sauces? It's like some people just know flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like So in the Indian food is another one that was surprising.
I think everybody get their spices from them for some reason. I hear a lot about
Indian
like
spices.
they must have a different level of spices or something. Maybe they climate is different than everybody else. So they stuff always got over the top flavor.
I can see that.
Everything got over the top flavor.
But you know, like a lot of those, what I've learned through my culinary journey.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
My culinary journey.
Culinary journey.
Man, I'm trying to expand that every week.
Good
Bookie.
Eats 310 on IG. That's me. Go check it out.
Boy.
That's my little foodie page.
Yeah.
Hey, but a lot of these countries, they use seasonings.
Yes.
America, we use salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying? Like they use spices.
Look, that American diet is killing us.
Yeah.
It's something that's made up.
Man, they actually use
killing
like,
us.
man, I seen a dude like pull some leaves off a tree.
branch.
Yeah.
Just
That's what I'm
chop it
saying.
up and some, you know what I'm saying, grind it up some I don't know what some seeds and all that.
Yeah.
When I see that, I say,
like,
when I see that, I say, the Lord agree with that.
Man.
I can tell. The Lord gave him all of that stuff,
All of that.
and he using it like he's supposed to.
Yeah, and what my buddy had told my wife, he had passed her like some kind of seasoning to put on the food.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, what's this?" And he explained it, but he was like, "You put this on your food, on your rice." He said, "Put the butter in your rice." He said, "Put the butter in your rice and then sprinkle this on top." And he said, "It's for the digestion. It helps you digest your food, the seasoning." I was like, Man, these like these other countries know how to eat, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I learned from some Asians that you drink warm drinks when you eat because it helps the digestion. Yeah.
See?
So America, we over here drinking pop. We give me a cold, give me a
ice,
Put our ice.
Yeah,
Putting our body a little shot.
Ice, you know what I'm saying? Give me a cold Pepsi, a Coke.
When it burn our throat, we feel good.
and we wonder why, you know what I'm saying, we got acid reflux. And I can't sleep at night because the food coming back up. I mean, you in your sleep choking. You know, this neck bone is coming up in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we don't have no rules. That American diet is just, I'm telling you. And the reason I say that is because, like, I got a colon infection one time, right? And this was recent. This was like in the last few months. And I went to urgent care or whatever. And then, you know, they found it. They did a little test. And then found out what it was, gave me some medication. And then, sometimes at the doctor, they give you a little printout about what happened, what they did or whatever. And when I read it, it was like, what's the cause of a colon infection? It said the typical American diet. It was like you just eat what Americans eat consistently, and I knew I had been eating bad for a long time because usually, I was doing my little juice regularly or whatever, and I got away from it for like about a month and a half. I went on vacation and then kind of got out of the rhythm or whatever, and stayed out of the rhythm when I came back, and I was eating a lot of fried foods, more than what I normally eat. And lo and behold, man, my stomach started hurting. I didn't know what it was. Boom. And it was just like, if you just eating a lot of fast food, a lot of fried food, a lot of processed food, ta-da, that's what's going to happen to you. And I'm like, dang.
Man.
It only took me like a month and a half to just go wrong. And I'm like, I'm just getting too old for that.
And you realize why when you watch those videos, when like the other countries, they tell you like, American food's not even food.
I know.
It was like, y'all call this food?
Yeah. It's like y'all eat products. For real.
Yeah.
For real. It's ugly, but it's true. James, what's up, man? What's been up with you?
Hey, man, quiet week. I got a lot of work to do. I'm moving on to a new job, so that's dope. Praise God for that. Got a new job at a new company, so I'm wrapping up this last job, making sure I can go back if I need to. Got to wrap up right. So that's a lot, man. Trying to just
train folks, right?
Training your replacement, all that type stuff. So yeah, I'm knee deep in that right now, just trying to get my head right. But that's it. Like everything else been pretty smooth, pretty steady, and I'm enjoying just like regular life. I don't need no more curveballs. Like it's a lot of people around us going through stuff, so I'm glad that it ain't no news right now.
Yeah, I know that's right.
No news.
He said no news is all right with me. I know. Well, just like you, I got a new gig starting this week coming up. I went to orientation Friday. It's a driving gig, a professional driving gig. It was cool. They had me up in there, dude. I'm telling you, filling out paperwork for a job has changed since the last time I did it. So everything was electronic, right? Mm-hmm. And I could do everything on my phone. They were sending me an email and I was just doing it. Dude, I was up in there, no joke, no exaggeration. I was up in there for 3 hours doing stuff. Now, the first hour I came because you had to do like a driving test with somebody, hop in the car, and they test your driving or whatever. And that was cool, but that was done, no joke. That was done like in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All we did was go around the corner, go in the parking lot, park, pull out. That was done. All the rest of that time I was filling out paperwork electronically. And it was a bunch of stuff. And then you had to like, because they partnered with, this company has partnered with Uber recently as well. So I had to open up another Uber account with them and do all that too. But how long does that take? That ain't 3 hours worth. Yeah. All that stuff was them. All they stuff, all they paperwork, taxes, all that, setting up your, how you set up your bank account to get paid, all that. Deposit all that in the same day. But it's a cool little company. Seemed like, and it seemed like what's funny is they when you know how you go into like a new job situation, you're trying to peep the scene, you're trying to peep. And I'm sitting in their office and here I am, like I said, 3 hours. So I'm really peeping like who coming, and low key, they targeted older people. They want older people driving.
Yes, you do.
For them. Yes, man. I didn't see nobody up under 30 up in there. And then the oldest was like up in there like me, touching 50 and older, older people. And I was like, that's the vibe y'all was looking for. And in order for me to get down there, when I filled out the app, a part of it was doing a video of yourself. So they knew what I looked like before they offered it to me. They was like, salt and pepper beard.
You like that?
We bring him in. I have my glasses on too. So, they was like, come on in. But it seemed like a cool spot. I had to wait for the Uber side to do how Uber does their background check or whatever.
Yeah.
I went to the orientation, and by the time I was doing the orientation, that hadn't completed yet. So I can't really start with them until tomorrow. So I'm gonna go back up there.
Hey,
so that's cool.
Question about that. I wonder if the younger generation is getting themselves with some of the ways that they representing themselves online. You think maybe companies are starting to notice like, hey man, y'all don't want to stay at no company for no years. Y'all don't want to come into the office. Y'all, I don't know.
I see a lot of complaining from young people, and it might be right. I'm not saying that they wrong for doing that.
Might be valid.
It might be valid, but I saw just recently, especially when we had our heat wave, a whole bunch of people quitting Amazon,
really, and
putting it on TikTok on purpose. Like
nobody finna be out here.
Exactly. I'm leaving my truck. I'm leaving right now. Filming themselves. Y'all truck is on 4th and Main. Y'all can come get it. I saw like 3 of them videos like that, and I'm like, man, they serious. So to your point, I'm like, I think a lot of that. Then one poor girl, she had been at a Waffle House for 6 years and did one of them challenges at work.
Yeah.
And got fired. And it had, and I looked at it, she had 7 point something million views of that video. And the very next video, she was like, they fired me for that last video I put out. And it was kind of cool. And she didn't do nothing crazy. It was just that she was rapping the song. I think it was a Lotto challenge.
But why? What was the beef with her what was the beef with her doing that at work?
Because you ain't supposed to be doing nothing like that probably at work. But she didn't do nothing that made the company look bad.
That's what I'm asking.
It actually gave them a good look. With 7 point something million people seeing the video, and she didn't do nothing crazy, and she had her coworkers in it too, so they were all doing like little lines of the song, but they didn't do nothing to deface but still the powers that be was like, and she was like, I was here 6 years, and thank you, that's what I get putting up with all y'all stuff or whatever, and I make one little video, and I don't know, man. I think it's easily. You make yourself a target though doing kind of stuff at work. in that sense. But yeah, I and then people complaining and leaving and filming it while they leave and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know if
that's
that's
gonna stay with you,
that's
bro.
a good look, man. I
Hey,
don't know.
look. I almost fell into temptation one time.
You almost did it, yeah.
I almost did it. I remember because back in I think I told James the story like back in 2010 when I was working for the school district when they had the big layoffs out here, LA Unified, Linwood, they had the big layoffs.
Yeah.
So I got caught in that layoff, right?
Okay.
And at the time, I had my Class B license. So I was like, they laid me off. I'm like, all right, so you know what? I'm gonna go get this Sparkletts water job.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one over in Gardena.
I know what you're talking about.
Sparkletts water.
So I was
Yep.
like, yeah, let me just go. Man, bruh. Woo. I got laid off. It was like that springtime going into summer, like around that March, May area. Man, I was out there one day down in the beach cities like Marina Del Rey. So if you in LA, most of the beach cities got a lot of condos, got all them stairs when you down there.
Yep.
Man, we had an average over 100 stops a day, right?
Of them bottles of them big gallons of water.
Yeah, 100 stops, not 100 bottles. 100
I hear
stops.
you. My goodness.
And so I was down there. It was, man, I can remember the day, man. It had to be like 90 degrees out there, bro.
Yeah.
I'm down in Marina Del Rey, like over there by Matt Church down there, where you go all the way down to the end of the water, right? And there's big hills up on top.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So the truck can go up the hill, and in the little PDF joint, they tell you like, yeah, don't skip this stop. And I'm reading, I'm like, why I said don't skip this stop? So they like, oh yeah, they need 6 bottles. Mind you, them bottles is like 50, 55 pounds.
I already
each.
know. My grandmother
They need 6
used to
bottles.
tell. Yes.
Man, I look, they like, oh yeah, it's 75 stairs going up here. Bruh, I was like on stop maybe like 80 already.
Yeah.
And they talk about they need 6 bottles of these 75 steps. And I'm talking about the steps where you walk 5, then you gotta walk a little bit, then walk up 5 more up the little. Look,
no elevator.
Hey, I'm about to be like, yo, Sparkletts, y'all. This truck is over here on PCH, right on Sepulveda and PCH. Go, yeah.
That boy from the Uber home.
Yeah, I'm about. Did he come get me? Because these 6 bottles he ain't going up them 75 steps.
That's one thing, man. Them delivery jobs is like, man, I think that a lot of people being worked, even the ones with the benefits, and like you say, known companies. They be wearing their people out. And I've been seeing a lot of them Amazon videos of people just like, no, and you saying 100 stops, you know what they saying that they have? 300 stops.
Ooh. They gotta be packages, yo. It can't be 300.
It could be like they go because they come into like my building, an apartment building, and they probably drop off. They probably could easily drop off 15 packages. You know what I'm saying? At one spot.
Yeah, they probably dropping off packages. Ours was counted by stops.
Addresses.
Yeah.
Like, boom,
so,
boom, boom.
But within those 100 stops, like I said, that one stop was 6 bottles.
Yeah.
So you imagine the whole truck on both sides and in the back is going to be empty by the
time you get back.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, and then you get the old people. You're like, oh baby, can you put the water on top of my dispenser?
Put it in there. Yep.
Bruh.
Yep. And I remember because back in the day, this is the 80s, my grandmother used to have Sparkletts for a little bit. I remember. And we would have to help, put it in on that little machine. She had it like almost like in the back porch, almost like.
Yeah.
So if we weren't there, she probably was asking them, can they put it up there? Because them things is heavy.
Oh, look.
Right.
We had stops in the projects. Go over there to the Nickersons.
Lord have mercy.
You drop off 3 bottles. By the time you think you finish, you get to the to headquarters. Oh, Miss Jefferson called, said you didn't drop her bottle. What you mean I ain't drop her bottles off?
I did. Somebody didn't got her bottles.
Or Miss Jefferson then took them bottles in the house and said you didn't bring them. So now she get 3 more. Now you got to go take her 3 more bottles the next day.
Man.
It's always a scammer, so they go find a way, dog.
It is.
That's funny.
It is. That's why they, to this day now, when you get deliveries, you see everybody got to take pictures.
Take pictures.
Yeah, take a picture.
You got to have proof now because, people running that. What else? This was a big one. This was today. I finally got a video done, a music video done of music. Now, this is funny. When I say finally, this is somebody who back in the day, I was doing music. The last time I really did some music and let some music out was like 2011. So around it. So you see how long it's been. And I never thought I would be doing music again or whatever. But my boy AD then got me caught up and then got me inspired, and then life makes some turns, and then you stop smoking weed, and then light bulbs come on, and then it's like, oh man, I got something to say now. And here I am doing that. And so, yeah, man, it was a full video shoot. We started like 9 o'clock this morning, and we didn't finish until like 4:45. It's an all day shoot. Now we did have a little lunch, but full day. And here's the kick it. The video is very short. It's like, but we did some drama. They added some drama to it at the beginning or whatever. So excited about that. Can't wait to share that. Another thing happened this weekend, and I know some people hit me online. My 30th high school reunion was this weekend, and I sure hate to miss because I had all this stuff going on and I had to skip out. But I did see the videos and see pictures of folks. And was surprised to see my boy Rob B was there as well, because I didn't know what dudes was going to like show up that I remember from back in the days. So that was cool.
Y'all had a small class, right?
Yeah.
Pretty small class back then.
Yeah, back then we probably had maybe 40 people max. You know what I'm saying? Small, like, yeah, probably about 40 people. So yeah, and they seem like a lot of them like have stayed in contact.
Y'all was in like one class the whole day?
Nah, it was 40
people. I
know, but that was just my class. Yeah. But the school probably had a total of maybe like 200 people there at once, and then we had different bungalows. This was King Drew Medical Magnet before they built the school, the big school that you see now. It was nothing but like 5 or 6 bungalows just in the cut. And when I
didn't know King Drew was open that
was back in the 90s early, and it was open before then, like probably late 80s, early 90s, because my cousin went to it, which is my aunt turned my mom on to it. That's how I ended up going. But she's like 4 or 5 years older than me, and she had been graduated by the time I got there. So yeah, it had been around for a while.
How often did y'all go across the street to Kill a King back then?
We went. That was like your extracurriculum. That was like, you know how people would do PE and sports? Yeah. That little time, we spent our time in the hospital. But see, what was dope was that was also the same time Doogie Howser, MD, was on television. So we was feeling like young Doogies going over there, going over there with our little smocks on or whatever. And it was so small, it was still considered LAUSD. Yeah. But when lunchtime came, a LAUSD truck would pull up with all our food. We didn't have even food on the campus where people could actually prepare it. We didn't have no kitchen. So they would have to pull up with the same food, though, the pizzas and the same thing everybody would get. But it was just, they just delivered it every day because we was that small. So that was cool seeing those people online. And I, kind of hate I missed it. But then again, when I thought about it, it was just like, I have to say it, it's just like, I don't really like miss going, like being with those people. Not to say there's anything wrong with them, but some people
just didn't connect like that.
Yeah, and it's just like I did, but the people that I thought that I really connected, I didn't think would be there. Okay. And it's because I'm in the group, and people who were saying that they were going to be there, it was cool. Because like the dude that showed up, I just shouted out, Rob, he was the only guy there at the lunch part, because they had like 2 little things. They did something at somebody's house too, and I didn't see no video on that. But the lunch that everybody came together, he was the only dude there. So, that would have been a little awkward. But anyway, I still thought it was, cool that they did that. And I don't know, in the future, maybe after a few more therapy sessions, I might be open and, go do that. And I've mentioned therapy because I'm going to tell y'all, therapy is fire, bruh. Like anybody who think that they need it or been debating it or whatever, man, go. Man, it helps because it helps give you tools to kind of get to the bottom of whatever issues that could be bothering you. It's like they know how to get to it, identify you, and get you tools to get over it. And you start applying it, and you start thinking like, man, all kind of people need therapy, especially black folks. You've been black in America, and you come up with especially the time of like Rodney King and riots and all that kind of stuff. That's enough stuff to have you, wanting to work through things. But anyway,
sprinkle a little poverty in there too. That's another layer.
Poverty is a big one.
Yeah.
And just how we kind of normalize like a lot of suffering to kind of get by, it's not good. You know what I mean? It's really, really not good. And you'll see people, especially for like people like me who are bent to self-medicating. Like you look around and you just see people who are self-medicating, and you know it. You know that that's just how they get through it, whatever. Therapy can really, really help that and get you out of that and getting you, because when you like self-medicating like regularly, whether you drinking, whether you smoking, whether you overeating or whatever, do you just overdoing it, watching television or whatever, just if you are overdoing it type of person, it's usually some other stuff going around, and you find these little mechanisms to like self-soothe, and you really low-key, what I've learned is just you really low-key just dishonoring yourself just over and over again, and just not treating yourself well, and it's because you don't really have the tools to mentally move past that. And it's something, what I discovered is something just like I was saying the other night at your house, James, it's like weight training, and you want to be like better in the gym, and you get a trainer, right? Yeah. What I used to think is like therapy would be something, as a Christian, I used to think, oh, that's something extra that the world does. But we over here in the church, we have our ways of getting through that. And that's not true. What I discovered is it's just like looking for a trainer. And if the trainer is skilled at knowing what they'll do, they know how to bring you to the next level, whether they're a Christian trainer or they a secular trainer. If they know the actual basic rules of training and having you get better as work on your body, it's in that same realm, and been very, 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 very beneficial. And because I have been like this and honestly did a lot of damage in my marriage, it's like it's even now I'm in my healing journey and doing well, but it's still some work to do in my relationship. So me and my wife are going to be, seeking marriage counsel in the same way, getting therapy as couples and working through some things together as well. And so she can get some tools.
Did y'all go to like your local church, or did y'all do something else?
We did go to the local church at first, and she met with somebody, and then she reached out to like her old campus folks, Campus Crusade. They don't call it that no more, but her old campus folks, for because they were they were my Caucasian brothers and sisters who been on this therapy kick light years before we were, and so she knew to reach out to them because she wanted to find a Christian therapist who could help. I mean, it's what my brother does as well as a believer. It's so you can find the Christian weight trainer, right, as well.
But they license, they folks. Educated, they skilled, they certified. They don't just mean well.
Exactly.
It's one thing when somebody, oh yeah, they mean well, but I need you to have the skills to get me to somewhere I'm not able to get to on my own.
Yeah, and I see the benefit of that.
That's something the church need to figure out.
It is, and some church have, because they'll have somebody like my brother. They have some and we even have licensed therapists at our church as well. So I mean, they're there. But I'm learning how beneficial, what I'm saying, they really, really are when you need it. You know what I mean? If you feel like you need it, man, go get it. Don't waste your time. If you've been thinking about it or you've read some things, you like, oh, I might benefit from that. Go ahead, dive into it, because it's most definitely better than just sitting around thinking things will just go away or they fix themselves, because they don't, bruh.
All right. So question.
Yeah.
All right, so a few years back, I would say probably about 4 years ago, I was seeking like therapy.
Yeah.
So I was looking. I went through my medical insurance through my job.
Yep.
And so through my journey looking, I talked to. I maybe had like 2 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It just didn't work out for me.
Yeah. What was the issue? What you didn't like?
So like after I hit like maybe 35 or something,
Yeah.
I got hit with bad anxiety.
Yeah.
And so so I went through my regular, primary care physician and all that.
Yeah.
And then he put me on some meds like Xanax. You know what I'm saying? Like, pop these whenever you can. But I'm really into the whole opioid kind of, you know what I'm saying? Situation.
Totally get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was just like, just take it when you can, when you need it, you feel like you need it. But I was getting anxiety bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be sitting in LA traffic and then all of a sudden my heart start, you know what I'm saying, fluttering and I get to sweating, can't breathe, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I'm, pop it, like, poop, poop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But say all that to say, like, so in my journey, like, I was looking for, in my mind, I was like, do I need a black therapist?
That might be.
Do I need a black therapist? Do I need a black male therapist?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so this is how I'm searching.
Yep.
And I'm like, does that really matter?
I'm gonna tell you, yes. Yes. Only because you may be sharing some things that culturally only black people really can fully relate to. Does that mean someone outside of your ethnicity can't help you? Nah. But if you know you're going to be talking about things like coming up in the hood and, some struggles that might have been, around those areas, then I think it helps for people to culturally relate. But I'll tell you this. I was meeting with a sister first. This is before I got into the intensive outpatient program that I'm in right now. And I was meeting with a sister for that reason, because I wanted somebody who could relate culturally, and it was fine. But when I went into the program that I am now, they offer a therapist as well. But this person was, I think she just had more skills, more longer time, more experience. And her emphasis also, she helped with substance abuse as well, what I was dealing with. So about 2 weeks ago, I had to tell the sister, I'm gonna have to put you on pause. And this other lady, she's a Latina lady, and she's dope. It's like she knows how to dig up the stuff and hear like the little roadblocks and tell you how to get past it. Because, like, for example, she was like, you desire to help other people or whatever, but let me give you some tools of doing that. Because what you can easily do is start taking on other people's problems and start thinking that you got to see them all the way through. And, really just take it on. And I could feel that happening. And so I was like, oh, you on to something. But she was like, you reach out to people that said they may like showed a little bit of they need some help, or like this person had done, just plainly said that they wanted some accountability. But she said, you reach out to them and, you ask them, how they want to be supported. And then you just leave it at that. And if they respond back, then you can, go on and, help them. But if you reach out to them and, you say all that, how can I support you, whatever, and then they don't say anything, you've done all that you need to do in that case. If they want to come around and continue, but don't sit around and think, why they not? And then be chasing them and going, that you shouldn't do. And that was so helpful, because one of the people who had reached out to me said, oh, man, I'm really dealing with some stuff or whatever. I did exactly what she said. I reached out to him and followed up with him and was like, hey, you mentioned that, hey, I'm here for you. Let me know how you want me to support you, whatever. And that person went silent. Yeah. And I just washed my hands on it and moved on, and then lost no sleep about it. So it's just like little things like that helping you, guide you through like whatever you throw at them. Because I was like, well, when do you tell? My wife was like, it got to a point where it's like, when we gonna tell Elise? Like, tell Elise what's going on, because you having these meetings, you saying, and these are like Zoom meetings, and I'm talking about drug use and all this other stuff. She like, she in the other room and she can hear, what you saying. When are you gonna say something to her? And I was like, I don't know. I ain't never been in this position, whatever. But I was able to go to the therapist and be like, what do you think? And then they ask more questions, because it's not so much that they're just trying to give you answers. They're really just trying to come alongside you and try to help you, guide you through these, challenging situations.
Yeah.
And so it was, they gave me some ideas of how to communicate it or what have you. But that's not to say I do that and neglect my Christian counseling, because I still meet with my elders and, at church, and they still walking alongside me as well and doing what they do.
That's what I was going to ask you. Have you ever found the counseling going against something that you learned or believe biblically? Y'all ever seen that?
Nah. You wouldn't, you don't have to worry about that. But this did happen.
You don't have to worry about that? That's a lot. That's a bold statement.
You don't have to worry. It depends on, like, if you were new to the faith, I wouldn't advise it.
Okay.
To some degree. I'll give you an example, because in one of these groups, like I meet like I have these they're like 12-step meetings, but on video. We don't really do 12-step, but I'm just trying to give you some context. It's like that. And one of the dudes is, and I meet with probably a total of 6 different leaders of these groups, right? And most of them are cool, they're cool, but out of this 6, there is one who is into Kabbalah. And so he always want to bring up Kabbalah, and he wants to throw it, it's not a religion, but it's most definitely a religion and it has its beliefs or whatever. So the last meeting he led, he was doing stuff like this. He's like, all right, I got this book. And they believe in reincarnation. They believe in like all kind of wacky spiritual stuff. And he's like, I'm able to tell you with this, whatever this little book he was reading, I'm able to tell you why you're here this time, and based on your birthday. And he was like, if you want to want me to do it, just let me know. But if you don't want to participate, you don't have to, or whatever. There was about 8 of us on that call. And like I said, it's all Zoom. You can see everybody. And he going through and he just asking people, Joe, do you want me to do it, whatever? It was only me and one other black man that was in there. And we was like, nope. No. I pass. I don't. So you got to be, I'm not saying all groups are indicative of things like that, because that was weird. Like I said, out of 6 people I deal with, he's the only one that's doing stuff like that. Everybody else is sticking to the script, or they just checking in on you, trying to give you tools or whatever. But he's only the one that's pushing that. Now, going into it, James, I was like, because I was warned by people who've done, secular programs or whatever that go to our church or whatever, and be like, it can get wacky like that, and understand that. And just, they don't like the environment, because in most of those meetings and stuff, people can say whatever they want. They can use whatever language I'm having an effed up day, and And if you had something like Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian based like 12-step, you're not gonna have people typically, acting like that. It's gonna be a little bit more sanitized. And so, but after my experience now of almost like a month and a half of just doing this and like doing like 2 meetings a day, it's like, there is an aspect there's like, I kind of like that freedom of how people can just be themselves and say whatever, because back to the topic of image correcting, it's like you could start worrying about that so much that you don't get down to talking about your mess, because you still worried about, well, what people gonna think about you. Like, dude, you're in recovery, you shouldn't be like really tripping. But because you're in a Christian setting, or you in a church, you gonna kind of you gonna tone it down. You're not gonna be like,
a little bit of a performance,
a
little bit,
because you're not gonna be like, I just don't feel it today. It's not an effed up day. These people be saying whatever. They be sitting up there vaping through the whole thing, like trying to get through these like tough moments, and I don't see that happening, like I said, in the Celebrate Recovery, because in those environments, and people have said it in the meetings, in those environments, we be like, all right, you can't be smoking. And you most definitely got to watch your language and all this other stuff. Like, we put that stuff on people. And, of course, believers ain't going to trip, but it's hard for a non-believer to go in those environments. But we always invite them into those environments. Yeah, you don't know nothing about Jesus, but come to Celebrate Recovery and try to see it, and come to church with me this, Sunday. And I'll be hearing these stories of like, people kind of, like, struggling with that. But when you think about it, I get it. You're a non-believer. You're coming into that type of environment. You're like, man, that's a little tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For their mentality. So I get it. I don't fault them. But for me, who, I am a believer, it's like, there's an aspect. Now, when this program ends, I do plan on getting to Celebrate Recovery, being around believers or whatever, because it's just good. Once you started up, being in the conversation, helping other people helps you.
Okay.
And so, I want to, but I don't think I'm going to stop going to secular groups either.
It's a difference, ain't it?
It's a
difference.
People just be telling the raw truth, like, this is where I am, and then telling they stories and stuff that they did, and they just, they're not met with, ooh, you're going to say something so crazy that's going to throw us. And it's like, not just the people in the group, it's the people who led the group. Most of the people who led the group have been most definitely strung out on everything. The doctor that helps, that's a medical doctor, was an addict as well. He's like, dude, I was on meth and like alcohol or something. He's like, yeah, real classy. When I first met him as a doctor, not like I wasn't a doctor. He was a doctor then. Functioning crazy, like addict, but now, so he's in the program helping other addicts, whatever, which is helping him too, stay clean. So
this recovery that you're talking about,
yeah,
is it the same as your therapist, or these are two different things?
Nah, it's a part of the program. So the meetings is one part of it. But meeting with a therapist is a part of it too. So once a week, I'm meeting with a therapist as well.
In addition, one-on-one section,
exactly,
okay.
One-on-one with them, gotcha. And then they have like a psychiatrist and a medical doctor. The psychiatrist is like at the beginning to try to see where you are, if you need some meds or whatever, some really meds. And that's another thing. There's a lot of meds that people use, like a lot of meds they offer for alcoholics. Like if they still getting urges, they have some meds. But I'm like you, Bookie, like I'm not quick to be popping pills. And like I told y'all not too long ago, like y'all stop asking me, do I want? First of all, I ain't told y'all I'm having issues with cravings and that, because I'm not. And stop just asking, well, we got some. Nah, I don't like that aspect.
I think my anxiety kicked in when I had kids. not saying it was the kids.
I hear you,
but like,
I hear you,
because like all my, like for instance, right?
Yeah.
So all my life, like the audience heard before, like my family's from Pittsburgh, right? Mm-hmm. So all my life I've been riding the Greyhound in Pittsburgh. Brooklyn, we take the Greyhound 3 days.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And when we were fortunate, we would take the plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been traveling ever since I was younger. You know what I'm saying?
That.
Hop on a plane and all that. When I got older,
mm-hmm.
I was getting on a plane and I was having anxiety. I'm like, why in the world am I having anxiety getting on this plane? And I'm talking about, I've been on plane. Yeah, statute of limitation exists, right? I've been on planes with people.
Sticky situations.
Yeah. Like that.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so
it was triggering
before
that,
9/11. You know what I'm saying? So
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but after I became just a saved young man, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A follower of Christ, of Yeshua. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get on a plane, bro, and then I start having anxiety attacks. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, because that stuff, a lot of that stuff that we were doing, especially that. See, I did some of that stuff too, Bookie, and that's enough to have you go through therapy, because that's not normal activity. That wasn't a normal, like the way that you was shocking your system trying to stay calm in them situations and all that, or being in high pressure situations. I was telling a story to my mom the other day because, man, I don't know why. Oh, she had just come back from Arkansas, and I was just telling her stories. Like, I was with my cousin in his backyard and with about 10 of his friends there. And we just chilling. And it's wintertime, so we all got coats on and beanies. We back smoking and drinking, just listening to music, not really doing nothing, just kicking it. But his sister brought some dude over there to buy some, you know what, some action, right? But he not knowing, and his sister was kind of shady in them streets, and well, she had that vibe. If you didn't know her, she had that vibe, and so she brings him over there to make. She thinks she's doing a good thing to help her brother out, so she brings him to the backyard. And this dude immediately thinks he finna get robbed and jumped by all these people here. So he just starts shooting. Pop, 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 just to run away. And I remember it because a shell hit my shoe. And I remember, I'm like, it was dark. It was getting dark. And I was like, it's somewhere over here. Sure enough, picked it up. Nobody was hit, right? And he got away. He just left or whatever. Now, we young and dumb. We laughing at it or whatever. But that's a traumatic experience. And you'll get in another scenario like that, and your body will start like tensing up, like that might happen again. Or you'll go by a group of brothers and think, oh man, it might, just like he was thinking, oh man, it might be on, because you've been in those kind of situations and environments. When you were doing that on the regular, that's not normal. We brushed it off like, oh, that's not normal. And later on, it starts to show up. Yeah. And so it could have easily been, because like you said, you've been in that plane before, and now your body is responding like, and you are not doing nothing like that.
And these are not regular things that we were
those
doing.
are not
these
regular.
Are not regular situations.
But I'm thinking is like, in my mind, is it like, okay, so I'm leaving my wife and kids at home. I'm taking this flight to go see my relatives, or, for a family event or something. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, what if this plane go down?
All that.
You know what I'm saying? Like now my wife is a widow. My kids ain't got no daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things, like where does this coming from, bro?
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
You're saying that and you're asking where that's coming from. I'm going to tell you clearly. When I was regularly smoking weed, thoughts like that never stopped.
Really?
Never stopped. Now, peace, I don't go there but it never stopped. I'm torturing myself. So if I hop on the plane, absolutely thinking that. Now, granted, as a believer, I be praying, Lord, please. And then sometimes I'm just rolling around smoking, talking about, Lord, please don't let the police get behind me. And then it'd be like, Jerrold, how you gonna pray that? And then I'll tell myself, well, if anybody can stop the police coming from behind me, I'm doing all these mental gymnastics because of all this, and always thinking about death, like, oh, it could happen like this. And then you watch the news, that ain't helpful. And I'm smoking weed, and I'm like, oh man, 12 people just got shot over there. Oh, I don't want to go over there, I can get shot. And you worrying about this stuff. Like, for me, that just made it worse. And you thinking, well, you smoking weed to calm down, to like chill out, right? And yeah, you might chill out for a little bit, but then it's gonna move right to anxiety. And you starting to think of the worst of the worst, and every sitting, oh man, I could just fall off these stairs right now. And I noticed, like, I don't deal with that right now, and I thank God. But yeah, some of that is just,
and you know what's crazy though,
past trauma.
Like James was saying, a lot of stuff that we dealt with wasn't normal. And what I'm getting from you is that, like, we do have PTSD.
That's what it is.
But me and my wife, we were talking this week about my son. Mm-hmm. So like, my son is getting ready to go to college and all that. He, trying to prepare, get ready to go to college. Yeah. And my daughter had made a statement to my wife. My wife was telling me, she was like, yeah, Mom, I'm kind of scared for, they call him Pooties. Yeah. I'm kind of scared for Pooties because he don't be paying attention, like what's going on. And so I'm scared that something might happen to him. Right, this is what my daughter is telling my wife. Mm-hmm. So my wife is telling me, and then so like I always tell him, I was like, look, you got to keep your antennas up at all times. You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Stop sitting in the car on that phone and this and that. Because even when I take him to get his haircut, I don't like the environment where he get his haircut.
Yeah.
And I don't like, and I always sit in the car, but I don't like sitting in the car like that. And as we talking, you know, I'm like, is he wrong for not, you know, always having his antennas up, or is there something wrong with me?
Yes.
For me, always having my antennas up.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
You need to look into that because he has a different upbringing.
Yeah.
Than you have.
Different.
He's growing up in a different environment than you and I did. And so I've had those conversations too. Am I alarming my daughter and maybe putting too much on her based on my experience?
Yeah.
And not from what she's experienced. She's not, you know, feeling unsafe at places or whatever, or feeling like, oh, these niggas finna hop out and start blasting or whatever, because we experienced things like that. We saw things like that.
Yeah.
We got sweated going to school and coming from school, and they don't have none of that experience. So their antennas are not really supposed to be up. And honestly, no, that's not normal for kids. And again, like I said, I was saying earlier, like a lot of people can probably use therapy because you grew up in environments where crazy stuff was happening. It wasn't the norm. That wasn't happening in everybody's neighborhood. So everybody is not dealing with that. We didn't see people's chains get snatched, or you go up in the store and this is a crazy dude that used to just go up in the store and just take stuff, yell at the people in the store, and we thought it was kind of funny or whatever, but that wasn't normal. And we were kids seeing that, and so you'll start putting your antennas up. You know, my friends we was walking home telling them, hey man, don't go that way. He go that way. He ain't got no shoes now when we meet up with him again. So yeah, somebody like grow up in that and have kids and be like, oh, you better. Well, and now you don't even live in a neighborhood like that, or the neighborhood has changed. It's not that bad. Or this kicker, they in the house with their mama and their daddy.
Right. You don't know nothing about that.
And you don't know nothing about that. And they feel very balanced. The mama and dad is healthy. They safe. They don't. Why should I be on guard? I don't gang bang. I don't do nothing crazy. Why should I naturally be? And it's because it's just different for them. And yes, so it'd be a lot of stuff, you know, that we have dealt with. And that's not to say you don't caution your children. Of course, you tell them, you know, if they see something strange or whatever, you're going to give them safety tips, but just know that they're not going through the same thing.
Yeah, because I told my wife, I said, look, our kids been raised in Compton. They pretty much born and raised in Compton.
Yeah.
But they're not Compton kids. Yep. They're not hood kids.
Yep.
Nah, it's not
they raised in the hood.
It's not the same Compton.
They're not hood kids.
Yeah.
They don't have a hood kid experience. You live in Compton, but you really don't live in Compton. Y'all really like my mother always say, yeah, y'all. She talking about my kids, my brother kids. Yeah, y'all kids like born with silver spoons in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? She got to make a statement, because my kids don't know nothing about like being hungry. Yeah, my kids don't know nothing about like mom and daddy don't have no money in their bank account. They don't. They have like us. My kids can pretty much get whatever they want from anybody. They got uncles and they got cousins who they call uncles and aunts, and they got little uncles and aunts.
They got a solid community.
Yeah, who would do
family
anything for them. You know what I'm saying?
We was trying to survive from 3 to 5 on our own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We was cooking for ourselves. We was at the house by ourselves.
Mama not there. Latchkey kids. Getting into the house. Lavelle Crawford got a funny bit about that, being a latchkey kid, and his mama told him don't let nobody in the house. His grandmama show up, and he don't let her in the house. All kind of people show up. My mama said don't let nobody in the house, and he go back to watching Thundercats. Boy, that boy had me.
I bet y'all heard Elisa. Y'all heard Elisa Sadiq talk about when he lived with his dad. Nah. It was totally. Y'all got. It was totally different. Totally different. But I mean, think about that. I remember going home one day. I might have ditched one day. So I ditched. You know, I leave the house like I'm supposed to. By the time mom go to the house, by the time mom leave the house to go to work, I could just circle the block in about an hour or two. Just make sure everything is cool. So I go back home like 10, you know, something like that. I'm chilling at the house. Yeah. And then some crackhead start trying to break into the house. I'm in the house. So what do? I don't even know what to do. I'm like, 15.
Yeah.
So I like,
See what I'm
okay,
saying?
so I grabbed the phone and I called 911, but I grabbed a knife too. Like, this dude might get in before the cops get in.
James, that
like, them
ain't normal.
That's situations, man.
not normal, bro.
And the only reason I found out who it was because I think, you know, somebody came by, some guys came by and they said it was like such and such the crackhead. Because we had just moved over there. That's why I know I had to be like 14, maybe 15.
Yeah.
So this the new family. This we gonna see what they got, you know.
Yep.
And it's like the local smoker.
Yep.
Whatever his name was, it was the local smoker. He realized there's some new people in the apartment, whatever. So it's like, let's go see what they got. I know they gone because she
Yep.
at work and he at school, and there ain't no man at all.
Yep.
You feel me? So
Yep.
like, y'all don't have no protection. Y'all don't have no.
Exactly.
It ain't no father figure
Exactly.
here. So he's trying to break in. You know, thank God somebody came along, spooked him, and he took off. But I mean, what was I supposed to do? I got a knife and I'm on the phone like, yeah, somebody breaking in the house. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to tell my mom. You know, I'm not even supposed to be home.
But check this out, James.
But those are like
That's
situations that our kids haven't thought about.
But think about it. When we were that age, how many of our friends had stories like that too?
All of them. All of them. Like,
Exactly.
we don't even have all of our friends didn't even make it out of high school.
That's
Like we went to funerals before we graduated. We went to funerals before we went to graduation. So
Dude,
you know that.
I did.
think
My
about
first funeral was right before high school, like middle school.
Man.
First of a dude, I'll never forget it. Dominique Collins. It was in my neighborhood, and this is a form of PTSD, and this is so funny because somebody at church mentioned this, and I told him this story. Ever since then, he got shot. Somebody called him over to a car. And he used to be out, and his cousin was really hard in the streets or whatever. But he was just like the dancing cat, the artsy, rapping, dancing crew. He was that dude. He wasn't into gang banging, but he would still hang out late, because we was young. There was teen clubs at that time, and I went to one with him, so I remember that. But somebody yelled, "Hey, come to the car!" And he thought it was somebody he knew, and he went up to the car and they shot him, right? And he died, and he was dating a close friend. Like, it was some twins that lived over there by Fauché, and he was dating one of them, and I liked the other one as well at that time. And it was a sad time. Somebody killed our boyfriend. Now, fast forward to 2023. This was probably last year. Vicky at the church.
Okay.
I'm in Gardena. I'm at the 7-Eleven. She like, hey, but I have trained myself ever since that moment. When people say, hey, they're not talking to me. You don't know my name? I don't respond, but it's all because of that. And I had to tell her that.
Yeah.
We walking around with a lot of that.
She trying to remember your name, huh?
She trying to remember my name.
What name?
And she couldn't.
Yeah.
She couldn't. And that's what she laughed about it. We tell that story all the time. She tells me that story all the time. And I laugh, but it's sad because I trained myself not to even look at people like that because of his story.
Yeah, I still remember the names. I remember one dude, Justin, was a young little stick-up kid.
Yeah.
And he was showing up to school all the time with a different Honda, because back then you could get the master keys and you could steal the Accords.
The master key.
Remember the master keys?
Remember
like
those stories.
The Honda Accord. So he's balling, he doing big things, and we all looking at like, man, he doing that fast life. I mean, it looked amazing from a distance, but we all knowing like, that ain't gonna work. That don't end well. So I guess the story is he got caught up with some adult that was grooming him to, really do some real flocking, like really robbing, from real robbing. And I think from what the story says, like when they got caught, they all start running. They thinking like that's the one who's gonna get the least time. That's the one who's gonna sing. When we came and let that happen, they pop him while they running from the cops. So that's one. That's Justin. I remember Justin. And then the next one was Demetrius Rice, D. Rice. We all remember D. Rice. Yeah. Chris and everybody would remember him, in the classroom, stuff going on, whoop de whoop. He end up taking a bullet, and then he don't make it.
Yep.
We at that funeral. This is all before we graduate, right? And then Jolie too. Jolie was a friend, like real popular, cute girl. Mm-hmm. Man, she off at a party with some dudes. She go off with some dude. You know how we do. We all dipped off at the end of the night with somebody to hook up. They find her in an empty apartment building a couple of weeks later. Like, yo, it was wild. This is all, we ain't graduated yet.
And how do you walk away like that as a teenager? You're not concerned about that? You don't think, oh man, that can happen to me. That man, and you're carrying that.
Yeah.
And you gotta still go to school, and you kind of brush it off and be like, whatever, but it ain't normal, because over there at Fluffy Falls in a whole nother city,
it's not as common.
they're not doing any of that.
Hey, Trip,
None of that is happening.
Yeah, have y'all heard the therapist community try to connect the dots between the PTSD that you get from war and the PTSD that you get from the inner city experience?
Absolutely.
Have you heard that?
Absolutely.
That is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's similar symptoms. Like there's things that if you were in a war zone in any kind of country, Mexico or Middle East, whatever.
Yep.
As a child watching that stuff happen, you do not come away normal.
Hey, dog.
No.
Well, it's a running joke in my family, but it's real. Like the first time I got shot at, I was 5 years old.
See,
I was with my uncle. My uncle was dating a girl,
Bruh.
and the boy and the guy.
First time I got shot at was 5 years old.
Yeah, and he was shooting at my uncle. I was with my uncle. My uncle was taking me home from like preschool or something. We walking down the street, dude shooting at him.
yeah,
And I'm with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the first time I got shot at I was 5 years old, bro.
Jay, you been shot at? Well, you just said you've been shot.
It wasn't directly. It was that was one story, and then there was a house where a lot of people that was running the streets this was another Arkansas story, and we would all hang out there because we'd all go over there. They play video games, playing music, rolling dice, and everybody would gather. But unfortunately, one person, as they say, you're not supposed to crap where you eat, and he was doing that. And so one night, we sitting out, me and my cousin, I'll never forget this, sitting in his car, and the place to hang out was like a block away from where my cousin stayed, and we were sitting in the driveway, and we heard gunshots. Now in LA, gunshots is very common, but in McAllen, in Arkansas, that was not a common thing. And we heard it, and we was like, wow. And we didn't know. So it was about 30, 40 minutes. We like, all right, let's go over there. Because that's where everybody would gather, meet at night. And he was very close to my cousin. That's like one of his closest buddies. And we was on our way over there. And come to find out, some dudes had went in there, kicked the door down. And dude was in there with his mom. They made him get out on the floor. And they killed him, but they went in there to rob him, and we were like I said, about 40 minutes almost in that house, and we would have been in that house normally, kicking it, and that would have been the wrong night. So when you experience stuff like that, or literally being shot at, or indirectly being shot at because of somebody else you around. Dude, that stuff stick with you.
Yeah, mine is the same way. I can remember it like last night. It's the same way. Now, this is the 90s, right? So everybody's into Snoop and the Chronic and all that stuff is big. So we think like this gangster life is just amazing. It's glamorized. So there's that same house where you gather and shoot dice and do whatever. It's next door. It's literally next door to where I live. And for the life of me, my mom was like, listen, stay away from that apartment. You know what I mean? It was that apartment. Like, just stay away from there. But I couldn't do that. Every music video, every song that I'm listening to tells me like that's it.
That's the house.
Life.
Yep.
That's the life. We over there see the rappers over there. It's a couple of young hoodsters over there. They not really that active, but one night, we all out in front. It's like 12 of us, whatever. We all out in front. Sure enough, somebody come by, spray the whole front of the place. And who knows what they meant or what they didn't mean, but like that night, that could have been it for any of us.
Yep.
For any of us. And you can still see the bullet holes. Like when I just remember still seeing them bullet holes walking to school. Like, man, that's that night. You just walk, and that don't mean nothing the time.
That is war zone stuff.
But that's
just like you said.
Zone stuff.
Just like you was in the
army. It's small because
army.
I wasn't active. I wasn't into nothing.
You didn't have to be though, James.
That's the
How many
thing.
people got killed that they weren't active?
I wasn't into none of that.
They weren't active at
But you
all.
still
They
have
just was
those nights.
in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and my
man.
story that I always tell people, I was like, I've never gangbanged.
Yeah.
But I still had to live by gangbang rules.
Yep.
Yeah, and people don't understand. They're like, no, you lived in L.A.
That's what I'm saying. You lived in
still had to
L.A.
live by
Compton
gangbang
at a
rules.
certain time. You had to be aware of them
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And your environment made you aware of them
Exactly.
things.
Yeah.
Like, man, like I tell that story. I think I told it on the pod. Like when I worked at Subway and the dude sweated me leaving Subway. And I'm with my mama.
Yeah.
And I'm hopping in the car, obviously looking like a kid, not no banger. And they pull up to the car and say, man, tell your son don't be wearing that. over here.
Yeah.
Now looking back, that was a very kind thing to do. I'm glad he didn't act on anything crazy and gave a little warning, but he was trying to say, dude, that purple, that cross-color purple stuff you got on over here that look like Grape Street don't work over here in this area,
And
right
that's what
here.
I mean by living by gangbanger rules.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got to learn that. Oh, okay, this is offensive. Okay, I won't be wearing this. Again to work.
I played baseball. I played for the Pirates.
Yeah.
The only time I wore my pirate hat was during the game. Like, for real, you couldn't wear it. You know what I
Black
mean?
hat with the yellow
My
P.
St. Louis hat.
Yep.
I lived on the east side of Compton. I lived down the A-line, the Atlantic Drives, Kelly Parks neighborhood, South Sides.
Yep.
I couldn't wear my St. Louis hat.
Cannot wear that hat.
You know what I'm saying? And
That's
I'm just
guaranteed
like,
you finna get sweaty.
That's the one.
Because you
do it.
look like, to them, you look like an enemy.
yeah.
And you must be wearing that because you don't know where
Yo,
at.
you wear that Philly hat? Like,
Exactly.
Jay, you were saying that impacted the way that you handled this party that you was talking about with your daughter.
Oh,
How did that work out?
That was funny. Great question. So my daughter, for the very first time, this is her first year at college.
Yeah.
But she has some friends that are like, a couple years older than her that's already been in college for a couple years. And so one of her older friends was going to a birthday party. And come to find out it was in Gardena too. And the funny kicker is it was at an Airbnb, we found out.
Okay.
And you already, the Airbnb, if y'all don't know, Airbnb is like no parties. No matter what's going on, whatever, you cannot have a party in the Airbnb. They don't allow it. And so this person had just probably booked it and didn't say that they was going to have a party. Because a lot of time, we do that and people ask, can we have a party? We want to have a party. We be like, sorry, boom. And we don't accept the booking at all. So here she is going to a college party and fresh 18, going to a college party for the first time. And I'm like, I'm thinking the worst. Listen to all the stories we just said. Listen to the story that you just said about your party and all this hanging out. So I still have that mentality, right? But this is a different time. This is a different kid. Me and my wife have raised this girl to the best of our ability, and she's a good kid. She's not let me break away and get into something wrong. We left her for 2 weeks when we went to New Zealand at home by herself because we knew she could hold it down. No big deal. And even this might sound crazy to us, is that my wife allowed her to have friends to come spend the night. Yeah. And I didn't know that really out the gate until afterwards. I probably would have shut that down. But it was cool because the person that they had, over is somebody that's in our community and meaning our, church community, people like a kid I know, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like it was some kid I didn't know. And it was fine. My house didn't get burnt down or whatever. It wasn't no crazy, anything. It's a different time. Yeah. But because I'm thinking about like the times that we're talking about when we're growing up, on our way to this college party, I'm like, oh man, I didn't know. And then to tell the whole story, your daughter was supposed to go too, and then your daughter was like, nah, I'm not. And I see James' daughter is a little bit more spiritually discerned. She is growing in grace, as they say. So when she was like,
I'll pass.
I was like, ooh, Lisa, this is making it hard for you to go. And I don't know the reason your daughter didn't want to go, whatever, but she didn't want to go. And so that was enough for me to be like, wait a minute. If she did, but I got through that. My wife kind of worked me through that and just like, Jerrold, she growing up, you gotta, let her go. And we were out and about at a younger age back then too, which was kind of crazy. My daughter ain't even been on the bus until she was 18.
Like once? Before
when
that?
she was little, me and her mom, I keep saying my mom, her mom, we all went on a little family trip when she was young.
Nah, that don't count. You gotta be by yourself. Well, I was driving. I rode the bus to school at like 7th grade,
exactly,
5th grade.
That ain't happening right now.
That's not happening. So my girl's first time on the bus was 18.
Yeah.
And but she worked it out. I was proud. I rode with her the first time to school, and then she had to get back by herself.
All right.
And then the next day she went totally there and back, by herself. It worked out. She didn't like she didn't like the green line though. You could take different routes. She didn't have to take the green line. She could take all buses. And her mom, to her credit, was like, we shouldn't put her on the trains. She just take the bus. And I'm like, train, bus, same thing. Like, boy, that green line. She like, boy, it's too many. This is what she said. She said, man, it's too many bums that be down there on the green line. I was like, dear, you got to say homeless because bums it could come off a little offensive. She didn't even know that. She was like, oh, for real? I was like, yeah. But she was like, it's too many homeless people down there. There's too many. And I was like, babe, don't worry about that. You don't have to take that route. Take a whole nother route. And taking the bus is it's dope now. With your phone, you can use a tap card with your phone, so you can use your phone to get in. You ain't got to worry about it, having the exact change, or man, I ain't got no sticker for my bus pass. You ain't got to worry about none of that. And then because of technology, it's telling you the next stop, and it screens on the bus, so it's hard for you to miss your stop. Cause back in the day, you didn't ring that little thing, boy. That boy finna fly past your
flying
stop.
Past.
You
I don't think it's the bus ride though. I think it's the bus stop.
Yeah, the bus stop.
That's the part for me, not the bus ride. So, cause my son asked, I was at where he asked his mom's like, Mom, can him and his friend take the bus down to the Long Beach, to the Pike?
Yeah.
My wife was like, nah, that's not happening. Go ask your daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I'm like, same thing. Like, and the RTD ain't what you want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, because there's too many hoods you got to stop at.
Yeah, it is.
Too many people getting on the bus. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what's dope that we didn't have? It's like that smartphone and Google Maps knows the bus routes too.
Yeah, for sure.
So you could just click the little bus button and it'll tell you, it'll tell you where you are, where you need to go, and just
all the ways to get
all the way to get there and direct. So it's hard to get lost. But
if we was on the west side,
I hear you.
If he's rolling on a bus through Manhattan Beach or Hermosa or Redondo,
different.
I feel different. Rolling from Compton to Long Beach, bro.
I feel you on that, Bookie, because she's going from like Gardena to Cerritos. So there's not a lot of RTD, if you will, not a lot of metro she had to get on. She just had to do Gardena,
the G-Trans,
and then then get on the exactly the G-Trans, and then a route like a little bit of the Green Line to Norwalk, and then get on the Cerritos bus. Even though it's at a station where they got a bunch of metro, she didn't have to really get on there, and I was happy because I'm looking at all the metro stops and all the people that's on there, and I'm seeing multiple weirdos. Like, man, and she could just hop on that and it ain't nobody hardly getting on that bus, especially that time of day too. So, but your route, you right. If you got to go Compton to Long Beach, you right. You're gonna go through you're not gonna have this clean little stop. It's gonna stop through a lot of hoods.
Man,
we used
to be risking our life on a bus, man. You go past Hawthorne Mall, like the K-Dubs is over there. That's the prep group, and then there's all they brothers is in some gang over there.
Yep.
You go past the Lamert Park, all the Troubles is there, and all they big brothers and cousins in '60s. Like, it was crazy trying to get around the city back in the day. So
it was only the grace
sure
of
this
God.
Automatically you thinking like, man, I done got robbed on the bus. I done seen people get stomped out on the bus. This is not normal.
I remember in middle school, I seen a dude starter coat. Oh man, I felt so bad.
Satin joints.
Man, get up out of that.
Get up out of it.
Satin.
Get out of that.
Them the coast was fire.
Yeah, man. They got me for mine over by SoFi. Like, this is way back before it was any of that. But like that area where SoFi is, man, I had a fly blue coat on. Y'all remember Lecoq Sportif?
Yes. Yes.
The Lecoq Sportif.
But and members only.
Yeah, but it's plush blue, but I'm in the blood neighborhood. They like, come out of that. So your man hit me. He like popped me to the side. He hit me real quick.
You got robbed.
Nah, it was disrespectful. Look, so he swung on me, caught me with one, right? And I'm ready to fight because I got my boy with me. But the other homie pulled out the burner and like, nah, we ain't doing none of that. I'm like, man, I was like, at least take it off me. Let's fade. Like, come on. I mean, I ain't no tough guy or nothing, but I'm willing to fight for my jacket. no fighting, come out that.
It was like
Put
that.
it. I'm like, hey, I can't. What I'm supposed to do when he bring out the burner? Like, it's over. Like, the fight is over. Like, I don't have nothing.
Over. It ain't no fight.
But I was like, I felt so disrespected because I
Yeah.
wanted to fight. It didn't even hurt. I'm like, you caught me with a cool one and it don't even hurt. Like, so take it off me. The other dude was like, man, quit all this foolishness. Come out there, joint. He pull a burner out. I'm like, here we go.
Yep.
I'm in Inglewood. So it's like, what can you do? But then you come up with, and now you got kids. Like my kid, I don't know if my kid asked or if my wife asked. She was like, hey, can I just take the car to work? You know, she tired of like inconveniencing everybody. She just turned 18. She's like, let me just drive the car to work. And I'm thinking like, hold up, man. I'm just expecting the worst to happen. Like, can we at least drive with you for a month and make sure something bad don't happen? That's just my instinct. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's just instinct. Like, I'm expecting bad things to happen because I've seen them really go down.
Well, we're talking about expecting bad things to happen. You watched that documentary on AI. And I'm expecting a lot of bad things to happen soon.
Man.
Very, very soon. What did you think?
First of all, I didn't think that was Oprah Winfrey. When you first sent it to me and I see Oprah Winfrey on that joint, I'm like, AI done impersonated Oprah Winfrey.
She ain't talking about this.
She not even on there. I'm thinking she's not even going to be a part of this show. It's just going to be, they're going to show you like, look how much we can make this look like Oprah Winfrey was involved. So that's what I was first thinking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all this deep fake stuff. And this AI show is on Hulu or something?
Yeah, it was an ABC show. Originally came on ABC.
That AI show spooked me, man, to see how the thought leaders of technology, the Bill Gates and all them type of dudes, and
the
Chat
dudes.
GPT dudes like Sam Altman and them, they are shocked at how much this thing can do. I know I was gonna be shocked. I knew y'all was gonna be shocked.
But they ain't
I didn't
supposed to
think
be
Bill
shocked.
Gates was gonna care.
You
Bill
the creators.
Gates was
Y'all ain't
shook.
supposed to be shocked.
Why are y'all shocked and shook like this? You're making me nervous about this.
These are the people that have invented all the stuff. And they like, hey, man, I don't know if we can keep this in the cage. I'm like, what you mean, man? They got my social. They got my picture. What you mean? They got my voice. What you mean you can't keep it in the cage?
Dude, the way that they can mimic voice, AI mimicking voice is, dude, you can take my voice right now and you will not be able to distinguish.
Tell the difference.
And I'm like, that enough to me is creepy. So it's like now you got to come up with safe words with your family.
Yeah.
So they won't respond to somebody faking your voice on the phone saying that you're in trouble doing something. And you got to have a safe word for your family. So if that person don't know the safe word, then you know that they ain't really talking to their daddy.
Got you.
That's crazy. But it's like you really need to consider that now.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like all the people right now that's being taken by the Nigerians? What they gonna do with AI, dog?
They gonna take it to another level.
God.
But that's what the FBI dude was saying, right? It's taking a normal criminal and it's giving him
Super villain status.
Super villain status because he is doing stuff like that. Because it was a lady on there with her daughter. And there was a scam going on, and it was just by God's grace that while the scam was going on, and they like, this your daughter here. What they did was, your daughter got in an accident
And messed up my drug deal.
I need my $900. That's all I know. And this lady is on the way to try to get this dude's $900 when her daughter calls her.
Yeah. It wasn't her daughter at all.
And it wasn't her daughter. Now think about that. The mama was faked out. Mama don't know their kid's voice. That's how good that technology then got.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I was like,
man.
oh.
Of course, I'm glued to my seat, though. I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm in. And have you noticed this, too? Like, if you be on certain apps, it'll ask you, like, hey, do you want to let this thing that you created, do you want to add that to the AI database and let it learn from you? I'm like, sure. Yeah, of course I wanted to know.
Let's keep this app free.
Yeah,
yes.
keep this going. It's like, man,
it's taking all of that and then making fake stuff like the videos that it can make. Like you can tell it to make a video now of a baby, and what it's doing is taking all the information that it has from babies and baby videos and baby whatever and generating this thing that's like, okay, you said a baby. From my knowledge and from all the videos and stuff I have of the baby that you described, here is one. And that video looked real. Yeah. Looked like somebody just shot this movie and you're watching a movie and it's all generated. Dude, today AD at the little video shoot, he's like, dude, have you tried this such AI app where it can produce music for you?
Yeah.
And you give it the prompt, like, make me a beat like Pete Rock. And it's going to search all of Pete Rock music and get a sense of it and spit you out a beat. And you like, my goodness, this sounds just like some stuff like that. And he was playing me a couple of beats that he was like, this is 100% AI. And I was like, you lying. It's banging. And it feel like it got samples in it and all that. Like, it's like, it knows what you want, and it's creating the stuff that we want, dude, based on all the information that we've given on the internet.
It's a game changer. It's straight game changer.
Super game changer.
Yeah,
Bookie, you want to say something?
I've seen them where they added like Tupac verses, Big verses, all that.
Dude, they was
crazy.
taking Tupac songs and making them like 1950 songs.
Yeah.
And flipping it.
That was dope.
That was very dope.
like that.
And they was having a voice on there. And then the one that you just showed us tonight, Bookie, you need to send me that link too.
Sesame Street?
Yes, you need to send me that link.
Sesame Street meets The Wire.
Man, that's what it was.
It was
Sesame
The Wire.
Street meet The Wire. The Count slinging dope.
Count Dracula was the boss.
Yeah, he the boss.
I'm
Got
like-
Bert and Ernie working for him.
But why wouldn't I want to watch
Bert and
that?
Ernie look like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like Breaking Bad.
Wow.
And the Count is running he the kingpin.
Dude,
That's crazy.
it's and I'm gonna tell you, it is funny because I'm using it more and more. Even for the video shoot, right? The director's like, he wanted some drama to be done, like some dialogue before the song started, right? And I'm sitting there, and this is like a day or two before the shoot, and I'm like, dang, I got to come up with some dialogue. And then the light bulb came on. ChatGPT prompted, tell him what kind of dialogue you want.
Yeah.
Christian battling, blah 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 blah. Loaded that bad boy up, boop, and I told it I only needed it to be 3 minutes long. So it spit out something that was about 3 minutes long, and I said, "Oh my!" I'm talking about everything. Told me to fade in, did the whole script. And I most definitely used it. And then I was like, man, this is a game changer. And I remember you saying using it for work sometime to cut down on the time. You don't want to spend 2 and 3 hours on stuff. And when
cut it down like 15 minutes.
See what I'm saying?
Hey, I've been using it, man. And I got the code prompt. If y'all haven't done this, whenever you put something in there, just say try again a bunch of times. The variations that you get are fire.
Yeah.
Be more concise.
Yeah.
Be more relatable. Try again.
Yeah.
Be less predictable.
Yeah.
Be more unpredictable. Be more witty. Like, oh, that man, it be coming. Oh, certainly. How about this? And then I take the best of all of them joints and put them together, and it joint become.
Dude, I'm doing
crispy.
this Udemy marketing class, and it's telling me, and I think I shared some of that with y'all, but it's telling me how to take out my competition.
Wow.
So it told me go find it. First of all, it told me how to find it, and it told me first of all go into incognito mode and tell it to search only the United States. When you do that, it's giving you raw. It's not using any cookies or whatever. So it's giving you raw data of the United States, not just in your area, because everything is near you.
Yeah.
But you open it up to what the average person will see when they search for this. So to find my competition, I just put in whatever the business is, and then it brought up the top people, not the sponsored joints, but the top people that people have been hitting on.
Okay.
He said, now take that, go to the search for their reviews for that person, load up 20 of those reviews, and then do a prompt that it had, this little prompt, and it just pretty much could bring up the pros and cons, and then how to be better than that. And it was like, my goodness. I'm like, people finna bring down all kind of, like, people who know these prompts is making themselves a problem. I don't care what your industry is. You can search it. You can find out who's at the top of your industry and how to actually be better and outperform them.
All right, so you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's put on our tinfoil hats.
Let's go, baby. It's been a minute.
I knew it was going to happen tonight.
Let's go.
Bruh, we just now seeing this. How long the government been using this?
That's true.
Always my
Because
thought.
they're always 10, 15 years ahead of
Absolutely.
this. So this AI is new to us. They probably had this back in 2000.
Look, this what you're right, and this is what people saying now, because you know how they be like this. They be talking about how celebrities been cloning themselves.
Yeah.
And how like the latest one has been Usher. I heard they were like, he ain't looking like himself. Remember when they was doing Jamie Foxx like that too?
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx.
They was like,
he did disappear, bro.
now I know, but this is how far since we got our tinfoil hat song, is that these billionaires and billionaires, a lot of people know how to go to space now, and so now you can go. You know, this is public knowledge. We got space stations and stuff that's up there that people can leave and be up there for months living. Man, it's easy that a lot of people got so much money that they didn't went somewhere else up in space living, and some of these celebrities got their clones down here still making money while they up there just chilling, knowing that this world is, they feel like it's just over with. And I was like, really, like these billionaires, there's a bunch of them. They got enough money to actually probably do these things where you and I don't have access. We just here doing what we do. And like he said, they using this technology. They didn't loaded their clones up with all this info, so they acting just like they normally was.
And you know what you got. All you got to do for me is make it an episode of Black Mirror, and then I'll just say, "See, that ain't real. That's just Black Mirror."
No, we were saying
I'm gonna
this.
dismiss it.
That this was one of the trip. You seen the movie? It's on Netflix. The one that the Obamas produced, talking about the end of the world.
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't watch it though.
Oh, you see that one? It's a wrap, bro. Because it just essentially shows how you can end our society.
Oh, okay.
Like you can just throw it all off. How like, for instance, like they was like, what if all the autonomous cars like Tesla just went on their own and just start blocking the road?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
I thought you were talking about a documentary.
No,
you're talking about the movie with Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, I believe. I don't know.
It's a drama. It's not a documentary. It's a drama. Okay.
It was like the white family and the black dude on the mansion or something.
Mahershala Ali in that joint. Yeah, that was dope. I did see that. The Teslas was all crashing into each other.
Michelle and Barack produced that movie.
I got you. Okay.
So ask yourself, why?
It's real, bro. You already know. You already know me.
He gonna go all the way.
You already know me, bro.
Go and jump out the window.
Hey, clone Tyrone.
Yes.
Real, bro. They got bodies that they putting up. And you got people. Hey, I see the video where they was talking about, like, I think it was over Japan, somewhere China somewhere.
Yeah.
You know how they get down. Like
they be trying
freezing their bodies so they can wake up like 20 years later.
Hey.
Like what?
Hey,
don't die all the way. Like freeze.
Do your Googles. That's exactly what Walt Disney did.
Yeah.
Do your Googles.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did to his body. I don't think it worked out. But
and James laughed at me. But remember, Joe Biden came back 6'2". He grew 3 inches when he came back. We was like, we're buying that. That man came out. That man was 6'5".
They ain't perfected it yet, Bookie. They can't get rid of all the flaws.
This man 6'5".
And he disappeared right after that uproar too. He didn't come back out for a while.
But I'm with you, Bookie, because it's like the government is always ahead of us. I mean, they had the internet in the 60s.
Oh yeah, computers. Government was using computers before they dropped it to IBM. You know what I'm saying? They already did that. Yeah,
so imagine what they are doing with AI, with that kind of. Because if we got that power to make all these shortcuts in our life,
how long they been doing it?
What you think? They got to be ahead, right? Because that's how you kind of keep everybody kind of like. Not down, but you know,
it's
like
their job to see what the worst case scenario could possibly be with this thing.
So they start testing it first. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be somebody in the room. Find out how terrible this could go. Here, take all of this and find out how terrible it could go before somebody
we're
else. We're
talking about like 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not doing it like 6 months. We didn't have this. Nah, we didn't have this like
that's
15,
their job.
20 years.
That's what I think UFOs are. I could be wrong, but I think UFOs are just advanced.
I do that too.
Advanced drones.
That's
that
all.
They can't just admit like, we
try
to see how fast we could go.
Because we're gonna start asking more questions and trying to break into the places and all that. They don't need all that. They need to keep testing in peace.
And they got some Nephilims working down there in Area 51.
Oh boy.
got them down there working, bro. And you're not allowed to say Jesus Christ when you go down there. You're not allowed to mention the name Jesus when you go down there in Area 51, bro.
You might disturb the Nephilim.
That boy said it ain't no churches in Area 51.
Yeah, you ain't allowed, bro.
They are
They
out.
got Nephilims down there working, bro. They still working. They still alive, bro.
How tall are they, Bookie?
Man, I heard they like 15 feet tall, 15, 20 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? Down there working. People seen them, bro. I'm telling you. They still got the bodies here on Earth. They mountains now, though.
Yep, they just keep covering up that evidence.
The mountains are Nephilim tombs.
Man, go Google it. Go look at it. You be like, man, when you go down, when you go high, you be like, man, that dude look like a face. That mountain do look like oh man, that is somebody's elbow. That dude look like an elbow. Oh, man, I'm telling you, you watch your eyes wide open. They're gonna be open. But.
Dude, you gonna have us looking for stuff that ain't there. This dude got me on the plane looking out the window like, man, that's a giant body over there.
And you know North America got more pyramids than Africa and Egypt.
Now I'll put it like this.
Now that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. That's stuff that's been uncovered.
Yeah.
We do have a bunch of pyramids over here, and we have a bunch of statues that look like people of color over here as well. Now, everything ain't Aztec looking because we got some of that too. We got a lot of that. But we got a lot of African statues over here that's been, uncovered as well. And where that stuff come from?
Yeah.
When was them people here? What was they doing? And I don't know nothing about them people.
Yeah.
Nah, they ain't gonna tell you none of that. The winner tell their story.
And not all black people came over here on slave ships. We was already over here, bro.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that don't really.
That's for sure.
That don't really
People don't
bother
believe it.
nobody, bro.
Nah,
They want to tell you his story. They want to tell you his story.
Like
If
if I
That's
ask
different.
you,
We own that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on. I mean, even the Hebrew Israelites when they bring that to the table, I'm like, we get that. You can have that.
Yeah,
But
it's
I'm pretty
black
sure
people
you got
everywhere.
that right. I'm pretty sure you got that right.
But even
boats didn't just show up.
No, they didn't.
You can have that one.
No, but even Los Angeles, the beginning of Los Angeles, just because we see it in Spanish, we think, it was just some Mexicans and Spanish folks. It's history. You can look it up. When they named Los Angeles, the people that settled and first named it, it was 10 people from African descent with these people. Mm-hmm. And even a son of a black slave was there at the naming of Los Angeles. It was multicultural from the jump. And it's kind of like, because of the names of the city, it's Spanish, and we took this part away from. Nah, man, it was people of color involved, and we don't know all of the history and story. It is.
It's coastland, so you can imagine that anybody could have showed up
with
on
a boat.
Some kind of boat. Yeah, it's coastland, so that's natural that it would be a melting pot of all kinds of people trying to show up, try to take claim, try to do business, all kind of stuff.
But you want to tell me it was just Christopher Columbus discovered it, and then it was just the native people that was here, and it was all kind of people who had been here before a lot of them people, and it's like
that's where you got to let people like really have their story. Like when the Hebrew Israelites try to say that part of our African descent they came over here, you can have that. Because
I'm not going for it. I'm gonna tell you why.
Teach me said
because you got the weird clothes on. I told you that's my rule. I'm not hearing it from you because it's 2024. You can have slacks on like the rest of us and t-shirts and J's or whatever. But no, you messing up with the headbands. You looking like Power Rangers, and you want to tell me about the history. You throwing me off with the clothes. I'm just but I hear you. I'm just clowning.
I'm with you. When they put their books together, they made sure we thought this was all started with Christopher Columbus. So
that's true.
What else y'all lying about?
That's true.
Come on.
That's where it all
What else
started,
y'all
bro.
lying about?
They lying about everything.
And they stopped lying about Christopher Columbus. You notice that? As we got older, they stopped lying about it, and they got rid of the holiday, and now we don't want to, really push that because it's like, he's putting extras on it.
I want your man to open up the JFK files, Bookie. I want 45. Open up the JFK files.
He ain't gonna survive because he making all the wrong moves at the wrong time. All that stuff. He know that the people in power don't want him to do. He want to talk about and he gonna let his ego get him in trouble.
He let Robert F. Kennedy do it. He's like, go ahead. RFK, go ahead. Go open up the files about your family. Go see what happened.
Yeah.
And make it public. Unclassified.
Oh man.
See what I'm saying? Like you playing with fire, man. And people been buried that stuff for a reason.
For a reason.
They don't want that stuff out. That's gonna be too many problems. You're gonna be hearing about all kind of stuff that's probably fake, and then that can cause some issues. I get
Then
that.
you gonna go getting them MLK files and all that.
That's gonna be
getting them MLK files.
Hey, can we switch up a little?
Absolutely.
Did y'all hear what happened with some of the guys that was falling? Like we got somebody falling every 2 months. Somebody go get him a
We
side
mentioned
chick.
MLK. Now we gonna think about somebody falling because he said he was a sugar daddy.
Oh,
Yeah, that's in the files.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but James, it was.
Yeah, so I mean, these are sad stories, but I think they hot topics with this powerful. I guess you would call him like a black apologist. This dude named Vincent Bantu.
He gonna start with the black man, but that's all right.
Because that's the
We're
dude
gonna move
that's
on.
like,
It's all right. It's another one failed, but that's okay.
He's such a.
Nah, I hear you.
He's such a
rare gem.
prominent figure in my circle because we always hear about some of the people that founded these seminaries, and it's a lot of stuff that feels a little bit like colonizing a little bit in our circle of Christianity. But when you hear these like these dope dudes from other parts of the world, other parts of the conversation, like Vincent Bantu was one of them dudes you would see who would bring up like the African history of Christianity. Like he would help those of us that wanted to feel good about our blackness and good about our Christ. And he would be like, yeah, there's a lot going on outside of what Europeans did. Thank God for the Europeans, whatever they did right. Shame on them for whatever they did with this transatlantic slave. Like that ain't nothing biblical, right? And then, but the history of Christianity goes way before anything Europe had anything to do with. And Vincent Bantu used to be one of those. He's one of those voices that would tell you like, hey, there's rich Christian history in Africa, Ethiopia, and other parts, and
well studied in that area,
and just an expert in that area. And then my man gonna get caught up. Jay, you said he started reading the wrong African books.
I said, man, because he been reading all of these, books, and he got, he one of those that. I remember the first book I bought of Vince. It was like I tried because I knew he had good information, but boy, it was a lot over my head.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I tried, but I couldn't. But I was encouraged because he was putting emphasis on something that I knew was a reality, and it's. First of all, the scriptures was written, I'm talking about the original scriptures, was written way before anybody thought about America, right?
Or Europe.
Or Europe, right? So it's obvious that, and then it talks about in scripture the places that people were. These are real places, right? So Christianity and this thought was moving all over the world in these places, right? But we don't have a lot of history. Knowledge here, being born in America, of what was happening around that time before Europe and before America. Yeah. So here we have this guy that's like, oh, I done studied, I done went over there, I take trips, I bring other people over there and study those things. It's like, wow,
got the dashiki on,
all of that, and all of the original language. My wife got T-shirts and stuff. The one that says Nazrawi or something like that, which was like one of the original ways that people were describing Christians, so it was like, whoa,
that's dope.
I was like, oh, that's all that stuff, right? And then, but he has to do a lot of studying. I was like, boy, he didn't read too many of them ancient texts, Bookie, and they just got a hold of him. And then all of a sudden, he wanted to be pushing polygamy, just what we was talking about,
So that, and then we don't. Now he's denying it now. So hopefully, some more information will come out and clear everything up. But the way it's going down is like. His accountability partners are like, your man been talking poly for a while.
Yep.
And he just stopped hiding it and just went fully poly. And we like, man, how many cats we gonna lose to these like silly, unnecessary failures, man? And then Steve Lawson come up, he get fired from his church. Steve Lawson, one of them dudes who played football, I think kind of like football type dude. So he speak our language. I mean, he's a, he a deep thinker, theologian in the, had like, book smart. I'm talking about seminary type, professor type dude. But he speak our language because he seemed like he just like an athlete who got saved.
Yeah.
One of them type dudes. Like he came to our church one time and he just was a cool cat. I met him and everything. Just seemed like a cool old white dude.
Yeah, real cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Very cool.
But he didn't got a little off.
Boy, it was real cool.
Boy, had him a little side
little
piece,
boot thing for I don't know how long or whatever, but Man,
how do y'all feel about hearing this over and over and over again? That's what I want to know.
It's a part of it. Read your Bible.
Yeah.
You hate to experience it. Like a big one that was for me was when Brady went left and went to something, the dude that was in Cross Movement now, who is the full-fledged atheist.
Yeah.
And that was for me.
He's an antichrist.
Yeah, he most
like I know
definitely.
some people that don't believe in God. I know some people that don't believe the Bible. This man hates the Bible and takes every moment he can to let you know that's not true. Yeah. He's an antichrist. That was shocking to me.
But the scripture says this will happen. People fall away or whatever, but you're never ready to experience it.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? So when it hits you, you're like, dog. It doesn't make me give up on the faith, because again, I know enough of my Bible that this happens.
Yeah.
This has been happening in every generation of professing believers. It's going to be people who fall away. And then as we get closer to the end of time, the Bible talks about it just increases. It'd be more of that. And at the end, men will become lovers of themselves. And it's like, bruh, I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, I'll never be used to it. Like, I'm used to people like P. Diddy and R. Kelly and all that kind of stuff. Because entertainers just, in every generation, you'll see them, go left and get involved in some crazy stuff. A lot of them, right? But inside the church, it's something that I probably will never get used to, because it's all it takes you by surprise. You like, not that person, like him. So
my question to you, James, because you the go-to guy that likes to see both sides of the spectrum all the time.
Yep.
That's why I always explain. He'd be like, "What James be talking about?" I'm like, James is the guy.
Absolutely.
That he's always seen, like, he looks for both sides of the spectrum.
Absolutely, that's my guy.
And I said that's actually a characteristic of James that I like.
Yeah.
Because he make you say, well, they do have a,
he can put the shoe on the other foot. He can try to see it from both sides. And let's see what we can come up with.
So my question to you, James, is that, do you think, like your man Vince, who's talking about this polygamy, do he have like a valid like point that he's coming from, but is wrong? You know how some people be like, "Oh, I don't eat pork because the Bible says
I see where you get that from."
Here's a part of the story that you need to know. This came out in the article. He already struggled with issues in his marriage where he had already stepped out.
Yeah.
Right? So when that has happened, I'm not saying a person would continue on in that or whatever, but when that's happened, and then later on you talking about, well, what about poly? It makes me feel like you trying to make room for your sin bent.
I totally agree.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
You trying to figure out a way to, how can I really do my sin? And I'm a sinner. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I understand that.
Yeah.
But somebody got to be like, nah. And so when your accountability people are like, nah, bruh, stop it. And then got to bring somebody else in to stop it. But to answer the Bookie's question, set that aside. Is there room, you think, for people like that to maybe really be genuinely searching for something like that? Or are they just trying to appease some sin, some pet sin they got around?
I mean, it's a lot of room for us to have different ideas. Like we got like, shout out to Pastor Rudy and some of our heroes like R.C. Sproul. They would baptize babies.
Yeah.
And we would never do that.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't kick them out the kingdom over that. We
Nope.
we see where you get that from. That's a difference of opinion. We can agree to disagree on that. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. We still disciple and evangelize the same way.
Yep.
And we respect Pastor Rudy. He know that he's a friend of the show. So yeah, that's the thing. But this one feels different because baptizing babies don't cause nobody to sin.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that you can say, all right, y'all kind of believe that. We don't really believe that, but we could.
He got kicked out of a school that he was teaching at because he had a inappropriate behavior with one of the students. And she went and told, and it made him have to step out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got that. Then you got to either stepped out on your wife. and now you talking about poly. It's
Oh,
like
you
your
gotta
friends
hear
at that
shit.
point
Yeah.
gotta stand up and say something at this point. Like, bro,
Yeah.
you kind of out of control,
Yeah.
man.
And even though we don't have any proof, you got
No,
like
we don't.
4
Allegedly.
But this is the thing. We don't have any. Okay, we don't have any proof, and whatever proof means. But there's 4 credible people putting their name on the line, plus Christianity Today.
Yep.
Putting their name on the line after a lot of information. So it's fair to say like something terrible is happening.
Yep.
I really would love to hear from the wife. But to answer your question, Bookie, like when we think about different things that we can disagree on, they can't be the kind of things that are completely identified in Scripture. So like when Jesus says, when he starts talking about marriage, he says, all right, y'all thought that y'all could just divorce for whatever reason, and y'all didn't took this way out of context. He said, but from the beginning, it was never intended to be like that. From the very beginning, he said somewhere that it was male and female, and the two shall become one. And then he says it again, like from the very beginning, this is what it was supposed to be. The two shall become one. So if you believe in Christianity, you believe it from what Jesus did to die and resurrect.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about it, Jesus believes that marriage is about 2 people, a man and a woman. And that's the way you're supposed to handle Christianity. Like, okay, there's some things that you might disagree on that we can live with. But when Jesus started talking about marriage, he clearly talks about 1 man, 1 woman, the 2 become 1. That's what he says the original intent was from creation.
Yep.
So then why would you try to say that, oh, well, look at Solomon, like we talked about Cam Newton doing that. Look at Solomon. That didn't work out for Solomon. Like they ain't recovered from that to this day. What Solomon did has repercussions to tonight. Israel ain't recovered from what Solomon did. It was terrible for him to have all them different wives who worshiped all them different gods. And just what they said was going to happen was he's going to go astray. One of them baddies going to get him off in one of them idol temples.
Yep.
And God said, when you do that, I'm going to embarrass you. That's what Solomon's promise was. We talk a lot about Solomon asking for wisdom and all this
being
wonderful
the wisest
stuff.
man.
But we don't like reading the rest of that. After God told Solomon, if you keep this, I'm going to make sure everything works out. If you don't follow me, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to make you like, dang, y'all heard what happened to James? He said, I'm going to make you one of them. I'm going to make an example out of you. And that's what God did to Solomon. So it didn't go right. You can't look at Solomon's life and say, see all these baddies he had?
I'm going to have that. I should have that.
Look how wonderful his
okay
life
with that.
was. His life was a disaster. I think one of his sons tried to rape one of his wives or something crazy.
Yeah, another relative or something. Yeah, just wow. It tore up his house.
Yo.
Yeah,
it wasn't good for Jacob and his wives and his kids.
Wasn't good for David either.
It didn't work out for David. You can't think it didn't work out for Abraham when they went off and had this boy with this other kid. His wife told him, send Hagar and Ishmael out there to die. Is basically what his wife was saying. Send them out to die. And then send him off to the desert somewhere.
And before we know
he wasn't saying like send them to the next city, make sure that we don't have to deal with them no more. She was a lot of scholars think that she was saying send that heifer out to die somewhere and her little raggedy little nappy headed kid.
And from that seed we got the Taliban.
Hey.
We got crazy. We got some crazy stuff on the earth because of that. If we trace it back,
it was 12 kings that came out of Ishmael.
Yeah,
and them 12 kings got talked about. The rest of that Bible, they was the Hittites and such and such heights, and all the enemies seemed to be coming out of them 12 tribes.
It caused problems.
There was 12 tribes out of Ishmael and 12 tribes out of Isaac, I think, and then they fighting tonight.
That's what I'm saying. Like
they fight right now.
Still right now.
So give me the example, Bookie. Just what we need to ask people. Give me the example of the poly person in the Bible that it worked out for.
Yeah, it
didn't work out for nobody.
So nah, bro, we not preaching that. We not accepting it. Now. Along the same lines, because we were seeing this along the same lines. Now we know people fall. And we not really listening to him no more. Unfortunately, even like Vince, he done good work. And that's not to say that all his work is lost, but it's like moving forward now, you kind of turn away from it and not like really get into him. And even like Lawson's situation, it's not like, you know, all his stuff that he said just was in vain, but it's like now moving forward because you've disqualified yourself as a pastor or whatever. Yeah. If he was to pop up tomorrow and start preaching, people probably wouldn't be listening like they listened before. Now, in the event though, not pastors though, let's just say entertainers. They get caught up like Diddy just did recently, like R. Kelly, who is sitting in prison tonight, right now. Is it okay? We know we're not gonna listen to sermons from the people no more, but
wait, that's not settled for me? Is that true? Are you not gonna listen to a sermon no more from?
Okay, I'll test it. I'll test your theory.
Yeah.
Ever since you learned about Ravi Zachariah, how many videos have you went back?
Not
and
a
looked at?
one.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what usually is because we don't want to hate. We don't want to say everything he said is not disqualified. If he was preaching Bible to the degree of the truth of the Bible, it's still good. It's still valid. But we tend not to. After something like this comes out, we don't tend to go back and be like, Ravi knew how to really break down, that stuff. And it's just kind of like, we'll just get away from it, right?
He did.
But why is it okay? Why is it okay for a lot of us to do that with Ravi? But R. Kelly, how much have you thrown away his music?
I know. I'm conflicted on this. I'm probably very inconsistent with how I apply this. So I'm not a good
how did you
case study. I'm a bad.
Let's just start with R. Kelly. Okay, how did you actually handle it? The news came out, and I'm gonna tell how I handled it. Bookie, you tell how you handle it. But James, the news came out. All the stuff is true. He locked up now. I don't know the hog tie. All that stuff. All that stuff didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And how did you handle listening to his music?
It's so interesting because this was my guy. For decades, this is our Marvin Gaye.
Yes.
Like nobody has made
better
music.
I agree with that.
Than this person.
Our Marvin Gaye, I agree with that.
And the only person that could even compete with his catalog possibly is Chris Brown. And that's debatable. He just
and Chris Brown has made a lot of music since R. Kelly been locked up too. But,
my first initial thing when it all went left, especially after that interview, it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to put this down for a while. This is my decision. I'm putting this down for a while. Nobody else has to do nothing. Nobody has to do nothing but me personally. I know that a lot of these songs I don't hear them the same way no more.
That was my initial feeling to a lot of stuff, like,
right?
Who is he singing to?
Yeah.
And man, you wrote Age Ain't Nothing But a Number for Aaliyah. Oh, I didn't. Oh man,
I feel complicit in that,
right?
Because
exactly.
I guess they're divorced.
But we were young. We were young when all that stuff was coming out. We was in high school and stuff when a lot of the stuff first took off. So you don't listen to it at all?
Oh no, that was the initial. You asked me the initial.
That was the
somewhere
initial.
Along the way, I felt like, you know what? Ain't no reason why I should be punished. I ain't do nothing.
Yes.
I ain't do nothing wrong.
Man, I'm going to tell you.
So I went back to listening to like the backyard joints.
Yeah.
Because the backyard joints, I have so many memories of parties. Y'all been in my house. I've been to y'all house. We've had parties. We've had stepping. And we've had some amazing moments to some of these songs. They're a part of my life. These songs are the soundtrack to my circle. Yeah. So, and I'm not talking about like Ignition and them type of songs. I'm talking about like...
man, I'm going to tell you.
Step in the name of love.
No, yeah. Did you get my love letter?
Love letters.
And like there's some songs that's like sleeper deep cuts on some of the backyard albums. Because when he got in trouble, he started making backyard music.
Happy People. That's my joint. Yeah. And I wanted to hear that.
Chocolate Factory is my joint.
Yeah, that was good. But Happy People, when he was getting in trouble and had to do the PG albums, essentially.
That's what they are.
It's classic.
He got one album where he's like impersonating Smokey Robinson, Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, Frankie Beverly,
showing how talented
and two
he is.
other people. Like this is who I could have written for. Is what I heard him doing. Like I wrote this song for Chris, but I'm gonna sing it because he don't mess with me now. I
went down the same path. Initially, it was no problem on not listening to it because it was all that stuff was coming out, and then the documentaries and all that stuff. It was like, dude. Nah,
But you did that for you. You wasn't doing that to keep up some appearance of somebody else. That's how you.
That's how I felt. I'm like, it's a lot of other stuff I can listen to, and did. But boy, over time, after time went by, and I remember it wasn't that long ago, and I was like, boy, I ain't felt that Happy People album, and I just put it on. I was driving somewhere, And I have most of those songs memorized, like, because I just love that album so much. It was just feel good, and one joint after the next, the way that they blended
like Frankie
in.
Beverly.
It is just classic, right? So I most definitely got back into listening to him. Like, man, so Bookie, what was your progression when you heard everything about R. Kelly? How did you handle it?
Well, for me, I've never been like a R. Kelly album kind of guy.
Yeah.
Always liked singles.
Yeah.
So, I still have him on my Enter the Tent playlist. He never came off the Enter the Tent playlist.
You know.
Yeah, and he never came off the Backyard Party playlist.
He never came
I
off.
mean, let's be real. All we know about R. Kelly from what they told us.
Yeah.
Man, it's a whole bunch of If we go by all that, we won't be listen to nothing.
That's
we wouldn't
true.
be listening to some gospel music.
Hey, a couple of them.
Honestly, let's be truthful. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
one of my favorite artists from the back in the day is Luther.
Yeah.
Who was Luther singing to?
Yeah, that's true. Never too much, but the boy was dope, though.
Right.
And even when we found out, like, it started to creep out more, we was like, nah, it's still Luther, still,
It's still Luther.
Because I'm thinking about my girl when I listen to it.
Hello.
I don't care who he was thinking about.
Exactly.
It's helping me right about now.
Teddy Pendergrass. Like,
Oh yeah, he had stories
yeah,
too.
we know what happened with Teddy.
Yeah,
How he ended up in the wheelchair.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Turn off the lights.
Like, hey.
man. But
So,
yeah, I feel that.
He never came off the list for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still play him.
Now, how y'all feel about Diddy? I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even have no problem because he did more producing than actually being on songs that I really like. So it's not like because he in trouble now and all this stuff come out, I'm gonna stop listening to a Biggie album.
Yeah,
I'm
that,
like,
that
nah.
last
I'm
Diddy
like,
album was hard.
Yeah.
That Diddy album that he
Yeah.
dropped, he must have knew something was on the way. That joint was fire.
What do y'all think about that?
That
Y'all
joint
think
was hard.
y'all think he being set up or it's extra? Now we know the video and the stuff he did with Cassie or whatever, but all this other stuff, I don't know. It can look a little shady. Like, why would they let out stuff like about the baby oil and all that stuff? Like, why would you even like let
Because they
the
want to
public know?
embarrass Diddy.
Exactly.
Diddy problem. I said it a long time ago when I thought I had my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah.
Diddy was messing with them people money.
How?
When he started messing with talking about he want that money from Ciroc and all that, man, you can't mess with them people, bread.
Is that LVMH in them?
Yeah, man, listen here. You mess with them higher ups, they're gonna take you down. They put you up there, they're gonna take you down.
You gotta play nice.
And how long we was hearing stuff about him? You know what I mean?
But
Like weird
let me
stuff
ask you
about
this.
him.
But let's think about this though, right? They mad at Diddy because the Diddy had the freak offs, right? But these are all consenting adults, right?
Yeah.
How many freak offs did Hugh Hefner have?
Yeah. That's a
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true. And then after
And who
he
was-
died, his stuff started coming out.
And
Like people started
everybody
hating on
was
him.
at the Playboy Mansion.
That's true. Boy, you have a real
Governors,
good
the
point.
mayors, the presidents, everybody was.
You got a
at
good point there,
the Hugh
bro.
Hefner, but Hugh Hefner played right.
So you saying they picking and choosing?
They
who
picking and
wanna-
choosing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, not saying that I agree with the freak offs.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a video about him and Usher, how he supposedly messed with Usher when Usher was underage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And moms permitted it. You know what I'm saying? Because she wanted that bread. That's what they saying.
Usher himself said, and you can look it up, that he wouldn't bring his kids around the stuff that he was exposed to.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Yeah, exactly.
Saw too much at a young
Saw
age.
too much.
Yeah.
Bieber seems shook too whenever they bring that up.
Bieber. Bieber made a
seems
song about it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, about
And Bieber was cutting
what
up
happened
for
to
a
him
while too.
at a Diddy
was.
party.
Bieber was cutting up. Bieber was getting all his black friends in trouble. He was going everywhere, and they was like, "Oh, these black boys."
Why
is
was
getting
him and
beat."
Meek Mills dressing together on that picture like the one y'all showed me? Like, why I missed that? What, why were they dressing the same one night? Like,
This man apparently was a menace.
Man.
Apparently he was a menace. Like they got stories about how he treated Bentley, They got stories about him and Cuba terrorizing. You know, Cuba Gooden got all kind of
Cuba already didn't. Yeah, he didn't already.
So
have
he's
a good
he's
reputation.
big in this Diddy indictment. He's big in that name. Like they got his name all over it.
Y'all think Jake's coming out in some of this video?
No,
Nah, y'all don't think so?
Y'all-
Boy, you gonna hate it when it
You don't
happens.
think
boy.
Jake's
I'm
on the
just
video?
kidding. Nah,
You don't
I
think Jake's on the video?
Nah, I don't think because
holding out hope.
nah, I honestly, my vote today, we don't know because them videos probably more gonna come out. But if I was to guess, like, nah, I don't think he was seen at too many of them parties. He probably went to some because a lot of people went to parties and it wasn't wild, it wasn't crazy. They didn't go to that party behind the party.
Yeah.
You know, the party behind. So it's some people that's probably gonna catch some strays just because they did go to a party. But we
Right.
talking about the party behind the party.
Yeah,
The stuff that he was filming that sounds like he was filming to blackmail people. Because
Yeah.
it's being played like, oh, he was filming all this stuff. So because he getting off on doing that. Maybe, but to the degree of who he partying with, some of
The
that
man
could be
wanted
on
power.
that. Yeah, exactly.
It's a power thing.
And he a power dude. So
Yeah, he is.
I
He
got
was
it, yeah.
big on the power plays. He enjoyed that.
a
You can
power
tell.
bottom. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just, but the deposition stuff, the reason I asked, because a lot of it seems like, well, what's come out so far is just kind of designed to just make him look bad. Yeah, he's committed some crimes. Like, you can't be having no guns with the serial number scratched
Right.
off at your crib.
Right.
That's gonna make anybody look bad. Like, what you got that for? You know what I mean? And you got like allegations of extortion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, who does that? Criminals do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not record execs. I don't know. Maybe that was
Trafficking,
and trafficking.
kidnapping.
But see, the trafficking is a shady one.
yeah, that's a yeah.
The reason that's shady is because, just like you were saying about Hugh Hefner, if Hugh Hefner flew some girls in for a party and people was, at those parties having sex with these people, that doesn't sound like trafficking, but now legally that's trafficking.
Yeah.
We still ain't seen the Epstein list.
You ain't gonna see that one because you got too many. I think there was
Yeah.
too many powerful people.
But I'm saying now that you still picking and choosing.
you are picking and choosing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's the
saying?
same
You
type of
still
vibe.
picking and choosing.
And I think they got rid of Epstein because
Oh,
they
yeah, you
like,
right.
oh, he gonna tell for sure. He
They was talking
finna
about-
tell.
They was
And
talking about Diddy on Suicide Watch.
like,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Epstein.
So if the reason I'm
Don't
saying
Epstein,
that
Diddy.
is I'm not condoning none of the stuff.
That Diddy. I'm not condoning that.
I'm not condoning none
He
of the
deserved
stuff
to
he
be in
did, and
jail.
I'm not saying he don't deserve to be in. I'm saying no, he's supposed to be in there. He didn't done enough crime on the books to be there. But the way it's coming out and the way it's been handled, it's a little heavy handed.
Yeah.
And it's like it feels like somebody trying to bury this dude, not just
Okay, he might-
oh, we got you, whatever.
He done crossed the wrong
Because
person.
usually when these things pop off, especially when they saying Rico, just like they did Young Thug, he ain't by himself. They went and got a whole bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
Diddy the only one sitting in jail
And
for all this
I was
stuff.
about to bring that up.
Yeah.
They hit them. They hit me for racketeering.
Yeah.
With a RICO, trying to get a RICO case on him.
Why you in there by yourself?
This is criminal organization. You know
all
what I'm
this stuff.
saying?
That's the evidence. Is
they
like
got
criminal.
the assistant. There's an assistant. Her last name is Coram. They getting her because she was the one arranging everything, and two other people was
Yeah,
arranging.
but usually when
everything.
you hit somebody with a RICO case, that's criminal organization charges.
And a
Not
whole bunch
like
of people
an
finna go
individual.
down.
Now you can have an individual, you know what I'm saying,
At the
RICO
top,
case, you know what I'm
you wanna
saying?
take the top
but
off.
usually it's for criminal organizations.
Yeah.
no, it's other people in there. It's
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's
So where's the
co-defendants,
other
but
people?
Yeah,
they not big names yet.
Nah, but we're not hearing their
We're
names.
not hearing none of the other
We're not
people.
hearing their names. We're just hearing him being locked up. Y'all think he in there snitching now?
You know what?
Just
I don't think it matters to
Like
the
best
people
guess.
up top.
yeah.
What you mean? It don't matter. The stuff he probably could expose.
I'm talking to the people up top. I'm talking
Yeah.
about for them to, for example, it don't matter who's on that list and that Epstein list to the people up top because some of the people up top is on that list.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? So
hear you.
why we don't have it? Why it's been years now? Why is it not out?
Oh, you're saying they got a way to
Yeah,
clean
and I'm
all this
saying
up?
for Diddy, they like look when you messing with the liquor industry, these dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're playing on a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's some long paper.
And so like, no. like we said before, they pay judges. They put certain people in Supreme Court places.
Mm-hmm.
They put certain judges, federal judges, in certain places, so they can have that pull. Even the president of the United States. I mean, they put these certain people in certain areas so they can do what they got to do. And I think Diddy is caught up in a situation like that. Like, bro, we don't care about what you know. We care that you're not gonna say it and you're gonna be locked up.
You know what's interesting though? A lot of people who were close to him that we would see, him with all the time or whatever, they showed quiet.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Khaled.
Not saying a word.
Jay
Ben got away from
Khaled.
him.
All these
First started saying stuff, Jay-Z just you didn't see him with
Jay-Z moonwalked back off of me.
Yes.
Way before even he got a phone call. Yeah, we about to go get your boy.
And then you see
Months
how
ago.
And you see how 50 didn't handle it because they had, I guess, a little tension because of some woman, I think, back in the days. But he showed Ben saying stuff. And you know what? Somebody who should get credit that they not gonna probably get credit.
Jaguar.
That's one of them.
Jaguar, right?
That's one of them. But even before her, Wendy Williams.
Oh,
because she was one of the first people saying stuff about Diddy.
oh yeah, they done made her crazy already. So she already.
Yeah.
She don't count.
She was.
They done made her
She
crazy.
was one of the first. Well, sad to see based on that little documentary. Even though her family is suing about that, I heard recently. She didn't just she drunk herself crazy. Unfortunately, and that's possible.
Bookies don't think that's the whole story.
Man, hey, they'll take you there, bro. People, man, listen, that industry
Wicked.
is wicked, bro. I've heard before this.
Yeah,
I've heard stories about these Hollywood parties from people that actually been there.
Yeah, that's
before
true.
this stuff even came out.
Yeah.
When I was managing Kino Camp and all that, we was with people that had like real famous artists and been in these situations, and it was like, man, I was there one day at a party and this was going on. They had Pandora's boxer. He's like, man, I've never seen no stuff like this in my life. It was crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They told us, and I was like, bruh. Yeah. And so, when I hear this stuff, I be like, man, we heard these stories 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That this stuff was happening.
Yeah, and people, especially the Diddy stuff. People have been talking about that long time. And it's just like, it's coming out. And it's so funny how some of the cryptic celebrity tweets that they were showing when this came out, like Rihanna's talking about something about karma is finally caught up with him. She did something about that. Lizzo was like, finally.
Really?
Heard this, yeah. So it's a lot of celebrities coming out with their cryptic tweets when they came out, like,
you signing an NDA to go to a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do that.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
You sign an NDA
Because Jay-Z and Beyonce do that.
Yeah.
If you come to their house and come to a party, you got to sign an NDA.
What's happening to where you got to have a non-disclosure?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's
Weirdo stuff.
Yeah.
But I think along those lines of weirdo stuff or untold stuff or, kind of like that, I was talking to somebody today and they were pondering going forward, possibly because they had been thinking about it for years and they put it away. And they were like, this is somebody who had been a part of this movement since the beginning. And y'all remember P4CM.
Yeah.
Right? That was big. It birthed a big poetry movement at that time as well. And, you still have people who kind of came out of that or started it around that time, still around, doing some stuff. Like they were talking about how Blair was like the first official poet, like before even the poetry events started, and she's still around. Shout out to Blair and Shaw.
Lynn.
But they were pondering like,
telling
pull off
P4CM story?
Yeah, could they pull it off? And because they were there at the beginning, when it was not even a church yet, when they were just meeting at somebody's house, and they have cool relationships with everybody. still. They didn't have any kind of polarizing moment where they picked sides and they just was cool with everybody. And they were saying that they could even reach out to Justin Cox, for y'all don't know, who was like one of the founding people of the
front man
of
definitely
of it.
The front man, YouTube pioneer. I don't know how many people I know that I thought about being on YouTube before Justin.
Yeah,
Just
you're right.
Really
you're right.
leveraging YouTube for all that it was worth, like
Absolutely.
15 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe
longer.
Too long.
Yeah, I think longer than that. And just seeing where he went, because again, he's one of those stories of falling away types slowly, because now he's on something totally different. Like, imagine P4CM was about the Passion for Christ movement. Well, he I was going to say something very crazy. Thank you for stopping me, Lord. But he got passion for something totally else, for something else right about now. Something totally, he got a passion for female parts. Let's just say that. That's what he got passion for now. That's what he's selling now. And I was telling them this person who was there, they can remain nameless, but they and then maybe one day they'll tell this story. But they were telling me just how seeing the different stages, like it was him. But remember when there was a time when Chris Davis and Morgan joined as well? That was
Steve Ross.
That was a phase. Well, he wasn't official. Ross wasn't an official like P4CM. He probably came along and supported. But just the people who were inside the ministry in the different phases, because that was Justin and them, and then TQ, and then Chris and Morgan, and then later on AD. After all of the drama is gone, then AD's a part of it, and keeping it going. And he was. I was talking to him today too, and he was sharing his insight along with this other person of those different. And then he was like something like, oh, low key, a lot of people don't know TQ had made a documentary.
Oh wow!
They did make it, but he didn't want it to come out. He didn't think it was completed and it was good enough to come out. And AD was talking about, he seen it. It was like about an hour and a half or whatever stuff, and it was cool. But the person we were talking to, like I said, had been there from the beginning, and he said he had access, and he was like, he could probably talk to Justin and get his side. Now think about it. We're talking documentary. A good documentary is gonna get everybody's side of the story.
This the thing though. Sometimes you see a documentary about how they created Beat Street and this wonderful movie, and then sometimes you see a movie about how everything fell apart and how people got their lives changed forever. These are not the same documentary. So it's like you have to really decide, like, are you gonna tell the true story with the, I don't want to say victims, but I don't know how else to say it.
That's what he was saying.
There's victims in mind.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Than, oh man, remember when
the rise and fall of
rise and fall
of
P4CM.
That's the only genuine one that can happen.
Yeah.
Now, do you really, those the people that really put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, do they really want that story out of how what they tried to build for God got destroyed from the inside? Do they want to tell that story? Because it's not the same story as like when Reggie Bush won the national championship. We love that story. And then we hear about the fallout of, they bought him a house and he took his Heisman. But now he has his Heisman back. And he's on TV and he's a hero again. And USC bounced back. Now, this is where's the bounce back?
But who do a great job of that? Unsung.
Yeah.
Unsung. You watch Unsung?
I have seen
I've seen
maybe
it.
one.
And I think if they go the unsung route, I think it would be great. It would be great.
I would watch it.
Have like a happy ending.
Nah, but
Not
see,
all of them.
Nah, man. How many documentaries don't have happy endings? Because everything don't end happy. So how, unless it's fictional, like how you gonna fix?
It just tell the truth. And you'd be wondering like, whatever happened.
But you want to hear every side though.
Yeah.
You don't want to see one side of it. You want to hear everybody who was involved. So if that thing started with somebody asking Justin Cox, like, when did he see himself falling off or falling out? You wouldn't lean in and turn that bad boy up like.
Yeah.
Shh,
I'm only nervous about if everybody was of age. I'm nervous about that, and I don't mean to put that out there because I don't know enough about it.
No, I don't. Yeah,
that's
and I won't play that. I don't recall nobody being underage. I feel like people were, consenting. He wasn't like, I don't know to what degree there was manipulation, but I think everybody was of age. It's just the fact that you ain't supposed to be sleeping with people that you pastoring, and you're single. It's
a tough story, man.
That's
a tough story. Most of these stories, they got like a silver lining or something.
Hillsong got one too, don't they?
Hillsong has like several exposes. They're all exposes.
Yeah, there ain't no silver lining in that.
You're right.
It's this tragedy, especially like
they hard to watch too. Hard to watch.
I think I listened to the podcast thing of the expose that they did via podcast. I listened to a bunch of those.
And the people who got the wrong end of Hillsong are on there telling their story. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it the people who were on the wrong side of that want to put this out? Because that's different than
it's just it was a lot of tragedy, and not all of it is. You can't blame it on one person. It was all kind of the story. It's not just Justin Cox's story. It's that, and then there was different seasons, and there was challenges in all of those seasons. And for us, like I was saying, it was a great moment in time for us here in Southern California.
They the ones that started all that X this and X that,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That was a movement.
That was a movement, and it was bringing up evangelism. It was bringing up what is your passion for Christ? Is it really, But I think what would be helpful is to see something like that and see like the pitfalls and getting this next generation tools to not fall into the same traps that they did, and be able to watch out. So as their movements take off, whatever, they know what to avoid, because man, it can be a great cautionary tale.
I was thinking the same thing, that it's good for somebody else coming along to see like, where did we go wrong, or you know what I'm saying, how to avoid what happened. Because
they had challenges not just in the leadership. Later on with the movement, there was challenges with money. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of stuff people didn't know was going on. They had a lot of, we thought at a certain point that because the shows had so many people showing up that they was making so much money. But what a lot of people didn't know is for a long time after the fall of the church or whatever, they had a lot of debt. And they had a lot of debt.
It birthed a lot of careers too. That's still flourishing right now.
That's what I was about to say. But it did a lot of good things too. It's not like it's all
bad.
All bad. And even I'm getting in trouble because I have to watch this name stuff. I have to be whatever. But they ain't tripping. Because I still follow Kalisha, who no longer, is a professing believer. And she was like, back in the early days of P4CM, she was like the mother of the church. And because she was like, I think she was like in her early 30s or mid 30s, and you was considered the mother. You was like the oldest person. In your 30s, you was the oldest. So it was a bunch of young people there.
Yeah.
But she made a post not too long ago, and bless her heart, she was like, because she had her stuff to say about some of the negative stuff, but she made a post probably a couple weeks ago where she was like, even though all that bad stuff happened, at P4CM, it was a lot of good people that I came in contact with.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of great times. And it caught my attention because Blair Lynn liked the post.
Yeah.
Because she was just saying genuinely, I'm not a believer and all that, but you know what? That was a moment in time, and it was some good people there.
Yeah. She used to manage Blair, so they had a real strong relationship.
Exactly.
She managed Blair.
So it's like, some bad happened, and we regret that. But I remember that time and how their fire just kind of caught on, and it just sparked us on looking and like, man, you can be young and on fire for the Lord, and you don't, you don't have to be ashamed. This is before the unashamed movement, but it's like it was all around that same time.
When them two crossed paths, it was magic.
It was magic,
when the
man.
unashamed movement and the P4CM movement crossed paths, it was nothing like it.
It was nothing like, and it's nothing been like it since. But some of it we didn't got old and we ain't that close to the streets no more. But it was a time, and I think it would be a valuable documentary. I would see it not for the drama or whatever. It's just being there and remembering that time and the impact it had. And like you said, it's still people out here to this day that started around that time that's out ministering. And one of the two biggest ones that's still out that what came out of that is Preston and his wife. Yep. Jackie.
Yeah, Ezekiel bubbling now. He got a dope podcast.
Yep.
I don't know how to say his last name, but he's dope too.
Yep. And
it's an interesting alumni, man. And we was in the thick of some of those things, man. The alumni list is fire.
Now, another thing that you brought up, because this is kind of along the lines, and I don't know. I don't have James, you could just tell me what you was thinking about when you said this. But one thing you mentioned is on the docket here, saying what is one thing that would be a danger to a genuine walk with God?
Yeah, I'm on that because look at all the stuff we talking about.
I know.
So I'm like, our pastor said that in one of his sermons. He asked the question like, what do you think would be one thing? What comes to mind when you think about a dangerous threat to your relationship with God?
Yeah.
A danger. And I'm like, what a dope question. It was a dope question.
It is, but it's like, dude, I'm telling you. And I looked at that and looking at it right now. And I'm like, what do I, need to safeguard, or what is that thing?
I'm gonna tell you mine. And I wanted to surprise y'all with this, but I felt like y'all needed a chance to think about this question. So when I thought about it, mine was like a genuine embracement of accountability. Like if we genuinely had biblical accountability,
okay,
we would be doing something different. So I think the biggest threat to our walk, just the one that comes to mind for me, is just a lack of accountability. Nobody checking you not being honest enough to check yourself.
Okay, I see
you
that.
not being willing to let somebody press you, put their finger in your chest a little bit and say, hey man, you don't seem to be as vibrant as you used to, that type stuff. Like I think that's that to me has been one of the biggest hindrances in my life.
I feel that, and I would agree 100%. Now that you say that, I'm like, that is a big threat. But, and it's so funny because I was having a very similar conversation with my wife. This was like yesterday about this subject. And how deep is accountability happening? I
don't know. It's not easy. I don't know, because in our city, this is unique to LA. The thing you got to know about LA is that one reason why celebrities love to come to LA is because we leave them alone.
We absolutely do.
And we think love in LA, this is just part of how we drink the water. It's in our water.
Yep.
We think love leaves you alone.
Yep.
That's one of the beauties of LA.
Yep. We're going to mind your business, brother.
Yeah,
That's
I went
fine.
to Guitar Center. I see Kendrick in there buying something. I just give him a dap, like, appreciate you, and keep moving, because he ain't out there to take no pictures and all that kind of stuff.
Nope.
And so many of us that grew up in LA, we do that. We'll see somebody, like we'll see a football player at the Laker game.
We'll just nod and just and keep on walking.
Yeah. Yes. I seen Earl Sweatshirt the other day in Santa Monica on the pier. All the beachfront restaurants. Seen Earl Sweatshirt, like, it's good, baby. And they appreciate that you just giving daps and nods and peace signs. They love that about LA. So all that to say, when you hear, if you born and raised in LA, if you got LA vibes, you know that people want to be left alone, and you think that's how you're supposed to love them. And that's not how accountability works. Accountability is invasive. It's intrusive.
It is.
It's disruptive. It says, I'm not finna let you just lie to me, James.
Yep.
Tell me for real that you haven't been on the wrong website. Show me your history. Why have you cleared out your cookies? Yeah. Why is it your history still open on your phone? Why? We don't do that very often. I haven't experienced much of that.
Yeah, and
I've wanted to. I've acted like I want that. I've said, hey, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
And then crickets.
Yeah.
And on my side too.
Boy, you
On my
telling the
side,
truth
too.
or you shaming the devil? Yes, you.
Like I said,
yes,
hey man,
you are.
Bookie, you can hold me accountable, dog. I don't want to end up like them.
Yeah.
I don't want to end up like Steve Lawson, however you want to frame it.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to end up like P4CM. I want you to get in my face. And
Yeah.
then the next time you try to get in my face, I'm finna duck and dodge and be like, nah, he really did that. I'm good.
Stevie Wonder on him. I
Yeah.
don't see you. I don't see you.
So I think that's one of the biggest threats, at least in my circle, in my life.
I gotta agree.
You don't do that right.
It is, and it's kind of like, because if you don't, you can create this like you on your own.
Yeah.
And Christianity is not to be done that way. That's not how it's truly practiced, where it's like we supposed to be bearing each other's burdens. We supposed to be confessing our sins one to another. And see, when you are doing that, because like I'm in the season of doing that, bearing all, it's very peaceful. But I know in the times when I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do and keep my pet sin around and not be bothered, I was not open to that.
It wasn't nothing we could do about it.
There was nothing
You
that
was gonna be like, that's not your business, and you was gonna do it in a way that's like respectful. I do the
Yep.
same thing. I'm not gonna disrespect you for trying to check me. I'm just gonna slide on out the way.
But now this is my motto.
You're gonna get the hint.
My motto now is, boy, turn yourself in before Jesus turn you in.
Hey,
Because when he do it, it's kind of like what you was talking about, Solomon's situation. You're gonna be embarrassed when he do it.
I
And it's,
don't remember seeing that before.
yeah.
That Solomon thing.
Yeah.
We hear the story of Solomon.
Of course.
We always talk about how he asked for such a great prayer. And you don't see where God said, like, now, if you do this, it's going to work out. If you don't do this, I'm going to embarrass you in front of everybody.
And he's not gonna be mocked.
So scary.
It is. And you stand before people saying, thus says the Lord, and God be like tugging on you like,
You gonna
need
come
to-
clean yet?
You need to check that and talk to somebody. He got it set up where you ain't got to go into public and tell. You got their small group, and you like are an accountability partner. Very small number of people that you can come clean with, and they walk through you. And it's not like you're going to stuff that's not common to other people.
Yeah.
But when you don't want to deal with
It's
it, you want to keep it
embarrassing,
around.
Jay.
It is.
It's embarrassing, man.
There is an aspect, but if you can not be stuck in embarrassment, and get over it, and then man, get around somebody who not embarrassed about their situation. That's what I was talking about. That's starting that chain reaction. You like, yeah, man, I could really be asking for help too. That brother could ask for help.
Like, oh, he went all the way. Okay.
Yeah,
He's
it's
going
like
all the way. We out here.
Yeah, it's like go ahead, go on, piggyback off of that. You know what I'm saying? Because we may get into a rut where I needed help.
Yeah.
If my wife did not put her foot down at a certain, and I sense the Spirit of God moving in my wife differently.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, she finna be
You finna,
okay.
You finna be on the wrong end of this.
Yes. If you don't snap out, I got her covered. She finna be all right. And I sensed that. And I was like, ooh, something else is happening right now. God is like, this is, and it come to that fork of the road. And thank God. Because I went, and I'll say it, I went kicking and screaming. I wanted to do just like Vince Bantu and start figuring out polygamy. Not literally, but that's his case. Like figure out how can I actually rationalize,
sanitize,
that's it.
Clean this up without having to give it up. Find a way to Jesus this out. I'm going to Christianize this little
and
sin.
God was saying, no,
Not gonna let you do it,
no further. You either gonna come with me or I'm gonna leave you over to whatever you want to do. And I'm sitting there going, well, it don't sound that bad. Like, that's what I mean. Like, and it was like, but by the grace of God, it was like, okay, just do the hard thing, bruh, and go in there. And I thank God I did.
Yeah, this is how I heard it the other day. Mm-hmm. God gonna let you have that thing, and then God gonna let that thing have you. Keep playing.
Yep.
And that's so scary to me.
It is.
I don't want nothing like that. What you think, Boogie?
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. For me, it's just like I think it's the community aspect of everything. Like having community.
Yes.
Cause I was watching the reel and when the preacher was saying like, man, y'all come in here, hallelujah, singing this and that, then y'all out the door. But as soon as I say, when I send the one saying they're all watching pray, y'all gone.
You look up and it's two people standing there.
Like gone. Like
gone.
you're not having like no community. And I think it falls in line to what you were saying.
Yeah.
The accountability and the community goes together. You know what I'm saying? Not even just like being with each other.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to go out there and not have like tight knit relationship with people that you actually go to church with, that you worship with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then like I know people make jokes like, oh, that's like cultish activities, and it do seem weird, but but it's like needed, bro.
It to me on this side, it don't feel cultish.
Yeah.
It just feels like extended family.
Extended family.
You got more family than your core family.
From the outside, people looking in like, oh, that's kind of
because y'all spending time with a lot of time with people who ain't your blood.
Yeah.
And so they think, oh, that's like a cult or whatever. And then y'all praying and singing together.
Y'all vacationing together. Y'all,
like what is
every
that?
time you go out to eat, y'all out to eat together. Y'all vacationing. Y'all chilling. Y'all go to church.
But on
together.
the inside, it's just like I got a big family,
Yeah.
man, and more people to care about me, and I can't just go missing. You know what I mean? I'm in a community of people. They don't see me for a while. They calling me. What's going on? They reaching out to my wife. Is everything okay or whatever? And I don't have no problem with that. I don't feel like that's cultish. Again, that's just family checking in on me.
The cultist one is the one where they tell you you can't move there,
and we all
can't marry that person,
and we all gotta wear these Nikes tonight and drink this Kool-Aid. Like I'm not with that, bro. With the uniform, here you go with the uniform.
That's the cultist one. You can't challenge the leader. Our leaders have told us, listen, if you see anything, y'all have a responsibility to sit me down. They've said that. We said something about that when we heard about all these failures today.
Yep.
I was like, everybody cool with their wife, right?
Right?
I'm
Checking in.
Hey,
Everybody
fam,
start checking in.
Your wife pretty cute. You good, right? Your wife cute too. My wife cute too. We all good, right? Can we just be okay with the wife of our youth, like the scripture said?
Yeah.
Then everybody kind of chuckled, like, I see what you're saying. But I'm like, come on, let's
like for
can
real.
we just admit that we're okay?
Yeah.
And then we don't need anybody else. Like, this is a blessing to have a spouse. And a lot of people don't have that.
That's what I was saying to my
okay?
wife. Like, and she heard it wrong because I didn't want to make it sound like I was blaming the wife. But when these prominent dudes are stepping out on their wife, or they trying to think of new ways to have other women in their relationships and all this weird stuff, there has to be this point, man. At some point, there was some discontentment at home.
Of course.
And I'm not saying that it was valid for them to cheat or it was valid for them to do something, but they didn't do the right thing at that moment. Because I think it is very human, not to say every marriage has to go through this, but I think it's very human for either spouse to be discontentment to grow.
Man, you can say bored if you want to say it.
Bored.
Hey, where we at? What's wrong? What happened? I've had several of those.
That's
with
what
my
I'm
wife.
saying.
I've initiated a couple, and she's initiated a lot.
And that's
she's like, hey,
yeah.
Hey, what's going on? What happened?
So my point is this: I believe that's happening to all marriages at some point, right?
Yeah.
But then it's not being handled right. It's not you just ignore it or brush it, and then you start handling it differently. Unless you was just like that out the gate. She married you and you was always just cheating all the time. And
we ain't talking about them.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you was happy. You married the wife of your youth. Y'all was having a good time. Time goes on and you hit these rough patches.
Yeah.
And I think they hit these rough patches and then for some reason go, you know what? I'm going to try my luck. I'm going to load up the dice and I'm going to try my luck. And it's like at that point, that person or that man or that woman is on a bad path. But it's like how I think, and this has to tie in with community and accountability, is that when you get there, can you be honest with other believers and say, I'm there right now. Y'all, I need y'all to pray for me and help me. And then some people come alongside you and you realize, oh, they didn't been through it too and can walk you through it. I think what happens is these cats isolate themselves and then it helps them. They don't talk about it. They don't have nobody to be accountable, but they sitting around thinking about it, probably watching the wrong things. And it's informing them, boy, you might want to dip out and then watch too many movies and then they go for it.
You know what? I think people think it's harder than what it actually is. And by what I mean by that is that it's easy to actually fall into that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all it takes is a lack of intimacy within a relationship.
Okay.
Then say like you at work, you doing 8-9 hours at work.
Yeah.
With what people call your work wife, your work husband, this and that.
Which is strange. I don't
Yeah.
like that statement, but
Yeah.
I get
And
what they're
you know what I'm
saying. But
yeah. And then
We've been in the trenches for 8 hours
Yeah,
for
to
5
8
straight days.
and sometimes you might be with that person more than you with your wife for that
That's
day.
fact.
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially if you have another working spouse at home.
Yeah.
You get home, the spouse may be asleep or the spouse may be doing something, and then or she working late or this and
Yeah.
that, and before you know it, you didn't took a shower, you in the bed, you haven't even really spent no time together.
Yeah.
And that can happen within days.
Days become weeks and
Days
weeks become months.
and then you're spending more time with someone else at work.
Yeah.
Having a more intimate conversation
With them.
Yeah, and then so from what I learned is that like from a book I read, like you have to be aware of emotional affairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when them emotional affairs happen, it can easily lead into physical affairs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Before
Yeah.
you know it, you like, dang, how did I get here? What happened? You like, this person ain't even my type.
But as men,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, but as men, I think if we be honest, you start having thoughts like, man, I wonder what it would be like to be with her, or something along those lines.
Yeah, but I'm saying that comes from that lack of intimacy at
facts.
home.
And if you don't check it,
No, don't do that. Don't do that, because I think we naturally sometimes have a curiosity about other women, even if
it's
wrong.
Yeah,
is
but when you,
happening.
but
I'm
what
with
I'm
you,
saying is,
James.
but what I'm saying
Yeah,
that
I'm
it's
with you,
stronger. It's stronger.
I agree with
when
that.
the intimacy is
It's
not at
lacking.
home.
Yeah.
When it's lacking
on both sides.
Yeah, and it become not don't only put it on the man.
That's what I said.
You know what I'm saying?
On both sides.
That woman can have it too.
Yeah.
Because
Most
when that man at work is paying more attention to her, you giving her the attention.
You better preach that.
You smell good. Oh, you look cute in that dress.
Uh-huh. I
my
like
husband
that
ain't-
color
my
on
husband ain't-
you.
Yeah, my
and
husband ain't
and
told
at
me
home,
that.
he ain't doing none of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, buddy, that
Yeah.
goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
Yeah. So I just think though that like without that accountability, you leave yourself open for stuff. Now we just talking about marriage, but even if you were single, didn't have no spouse, and you struggling in any area, and you're not talking to nobody, that just leaves it open. I just believe that just leaves you open, and I think that's why a lot of people are struggling within the church, because one, they're not talking about it, but two, they don't feel comfortable talking about it. And it was kind of like what we talked about last pod, is some of that could be being kind of encouraged because everybody's putting up facades. So you looking around and you're not seeing people struggle. So you think, well, they ain't gonna understand, or this might be too much for them if I tell them what I'm going through. And so I'll just hold it, which is not the answer.
A lot of people think they the first ones to go through this.
True
Like,
that.
bro, you ain't the first one to go through this.
But if you don't say nothing,
Yeah,
Bookie,
exactly,
you're
yeah.
not going to find out. And if people are not willing to share that bad part of their life, then it doesn't happen. And then the weirdness is there where you think you got to keep up this facade because that's what everybody else is doing. But really what needs to happen is somebody needs to come clean and start telling them that, hey, I ain't got this figured out, or try this on for size, or I'm really bad at this.
Yeah, that helps.
And if you can't never say that you really bad at something and you struggle or whatever, nobody else around you is going, I feel like, really want to open up or whatever, and just kind of sense, well, I'm supposed to just act like everything is okay, until you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I think we would probably do good if we would do some more like events around the sanctification process. Like we do marriage counseling, we do single conferences.
Yeah.
We do this conference, that conference. I think, man, I know some of them going on around the country, around
Of
the
course,
world.
of course.
But a sanctification conference. Let's just come together to talk about how to be better Christians.
Yeah.
We don't have to. I know people are doing it. I know it's happening all over the place. But I mean, that would be I think that would help if we put a bigger emphasis on, hey, man, let's talk about these 6 parts of our lives that we usually ain't that good at. Some of y'all ain't praying that much. Let's do a seminar. Let's do a breakout shop on.
That would be dope.
Hey, this is how you pray consistently. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to avoid. And then this one over here. Hey man, here's how you handle the opposite gender. This is how you handle those thoughts. This is how you handle that stuff. Like, take your butt to sleep. Don't stay on that website. Yeah. Take your butt to sleep. All that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And just give people some of those practical things that have always worked for us. And the people that further down the road can tell us, hey, here's what I did to overcome that. I know we do that a little bit, but I think the emphasis that when we come together and spend money on a conference, it's usually like a prophecy conference, or I don't know what they do, but
yeah, all right.
Different conferences.
What worked for me is like our men's meeting worked for me.
Yeah,
I'm not a big like seminar conference kind of dude.
Me neither.
I'll be watching the football game on my phone.
Yeah, for real. Don't send me in no room like that.
After a while, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be here for a 4-hour conference, man.
ADD go kick in.
ADD go kick in.
I gotta put my mind on something. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Boogie.
Yeah.
But I do find small groups.
Small groups. Like
if
if I'm in my men's group and we having a men's meeting, you know, we sitting around. Just the way our men's meeting go. We having breakfast. We might be at a restaurant having breakfast, or we might just be at the crib sipping coffee, eating a donut or something like that, and just talking.
Yeah,
like man. Just say for instance, like somebody could be sitting there and be like, "Yeah, me and wifey, we going through, bro."
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's the time to do it.
Yeah, like I ain't got none in like 2 months.
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying,
and then brothers start coming alongside. He's like, "What's going on?
What's going on with y'all?
What you trying? When did this start? What you know?"
Exactly.
And you can get help. You know what I mean? In those. So I agree.
And that's where that accountability come in too, because now that we know, be like, you can hit him up like, yo, bro, how you and wifey doing?
Yep.
Oh, I see, you and wifey was out. Man, you know what? Why don't you and wifey come out to dinner with us this weekend?
You know, part of that is from the space that we spend away from each other. Because if you look at Acts, a couple times Luke said they went to the temple, and then every day they went from house to house. They went to a few times, he says, they went to the temple, and then they went to house every day. Yeah. Just like the time that we can spend together is different. Like we talk about the cults like, oh man, they got that Kool-Aid over there and all that, but a couple things they do better than us.
Yeah,
they come and congregate better. They spend life. They do life together a lot of times better than us. It's twisted. I know it's twisted and it's toxic, but it's like that time they spend together would create that familiarity you talking about, Bookie, where the community can breed accountability because I trust you. I've heard you share your life, so I'm not afraid to share mine. And I've heard you be gentle with him, so I assume you might be gentle with my foolishness. Yeah, because I've seen you do it.
Yeah,
that don't happen if we never hang out.
Yeah.
That's true.
And when you spend time together like that, some things don't even have to be mentioned. You can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can say you can see it.
That's big, especially I think really for men too, because we maybe not be quick to pour out our heart and what's going on, but God will put you around an area where somebody is stronger in something, and you're sitting there like and taking notes, and you like, oh, I'm gonna do that, and you might not even say nothing to that person in that meeting, but what they shared and you know the tools they dropped and you picked up. Yeah. And I did a lot of that, and that happens in community. Yeah. And I think even, like I said, even more so for men, because we don't like to always show that we're vulnerable or whatever. But if it's good and it's a tool, boy, we'll be like, I think I'm gonna try that. And I might not have to say anything to you, but I'm like, man, I'm gonna try that. That sounds good right there.
So I'm hearing you answer the question like the reverse way. The way you answer the question is not showing up. How did the question go? What's one of the things that could really hinder?
Yeah, it says one thing that would be a danger to a genuine work with God.
Yeah, not showing up. That's what I'm hearing you say. Like, in the reverse way. Not showing up is deadly, fam.
It is.
It's deadly. And I've to a man, I've never seen a person that I super respect and really, really like enjoy watching their walk, and they don't be showing up to nothing. I don't know nobody like that.
That's true.
I don't know nobody like that.
That's true, James. That's true.
I'm not trying to be legalistic with your attendance. This ain't no perfect attendance award. I'm just saying, like, when I look at the people that I kind of like want to hear from and learn from, it be the people that be showing up to stuff.
Yeah.
And when I hear about people falling off and something happened, and I be like, man, I feel bad that I'm not shocked. I feel bad that I'm not shocked, but I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked by this because
This person was never around a lot.
MIA a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And I don't feel good that I felt that, but hey,
that's
kind of
and
one
you
of the
see
flags.
It
That's one of the red flags.
It is, and once you see that enough, it is. This has been great, though. This is a great conversation. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we did not start with the toast, but that doesn't mean we can't end with it. So do me a favor, grab a glass as we exit up out of here, and just remember these things. Listen, we all fall, but we say don't trip. We all been called, but all stall a bit. We all stand tall until that time we slip. Just admit, without the grace of God, I'm really bad at this.